Welcome to the 2012 Under Armour High School All-America Game presented by American Family Insurance. We are at the Trop in St. Petersburg, Florida for the third straight year of this Under Armour High School Football All-America Game. And hello to everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside the Director of National Recruiting for ESPN, Tom Luganbill. And Tom, this is the 5th year of this event. You've been a part of it each and every year. Each year it gets bigger to the point where now it's a date that you circle on the calendar.
It is, Justin, and it's actually become more than a date. It's a week's worth of events, whether it's the 6 televised hours of practice coverage, the skills challenge on ESPN2 this past week, and then obviously the game here tonight. There is 160 years of combined NFL coaching experience between head coaches Steve Mariucci, Herm Edwards, and the coordinators on both teams. This is the perfect way to culminate and bring to an end the high school careers of these fantastic players on hand here today.
There are a lot of players that hope to add to that 160 total years of NFL experience. You guys grade out 16 positions. Of the 16 positions, we have 13 number 1 at their respective position.
Well, we do, and as you take a look at the offense here, obviously a significant premium placed upon the offensive line with the likes of Evan Boehm and quarterbacks with the likes of Jameis Winston and Jonathan Gray. Everybody knows that name if you're a follower of college football and recruiting. And then on the defensive side as well, a lot of talent within the front 7. Mario Edwards Jr., the number 1 ranked overall player in the land. Eddie Goldman at the defensive tackle position. And how about Landon Collins, the safety, folks? A lot of LSU and Alabama fans on pins and needles with what the safety from Louisiana is going to do.
Yeah, on pins and needles, not for the game on Monday, but for the decision that he'll be making here tonight. Now, you see all those players who are number 1 at their respective positions. How about guys that you're really excited about watching here tonight?
Very excited about Devontae Neal. He's an athlete with the black team, came over originally as a cornerback, had some injuries on the offensive side of the football. Boop, he goes right over to the offensive side as a slot, as a running back. He might be one of the most electrifying players in space that the entire 2012 class has to offer. And then Andres Pete, the offensive tackle, pound for pound when it comes to measurables and talent, he may actually be the best pure offensive tackle we've seen in each of the past 5 classes in attendance here. And as he has to face off, probably many times tonight, against defensive end Mario Edwards, that's the matchup I'm looking for. Mario Edwards came in maybe just a couple of biscuits shy of 290, or almost 300 pounds. You see right there at 297. I don't think, Justin, that he's necessarily going to move down into the tackle spot. He's so explosive with his first step. Great hand, terrific technique. He's a load to handle off the edge. Obviously, we'll want to keep an eye on him throughout this broadcast. What else do we have on tap for you here tonight for this All-America game? Well, how about the coaches? Herm Edwards, Steve Mariucci. The 2 of them are mic'd up. They will talk to each other. They'll talk to us. Hopefully, they don't give away any shriekage through those microphones. Also, we will have 6 verbal announcements. The player right there, Landon Collins. Tom, you hinted at it. A lot of people, LSU, Alabama, want to know where he will be going next year. And then finally, we will break down the classes. 10 players who have committed to the University of Texas are playing in this game. We are just about set for football. So, Tom, what are the keys to the game brought to you by Under Armour? I think there are 4 specific keys to the game. First and foremost, pass protection. Awfully difficult for offensive lines to gel in a short period of time. Defensive line has the advantage. As with wide receivers, these are defensive backs unlike anything they've faced before. So can the wide receivers get off of press coverage in man-to-man concepts? Ball handling, center to quarterback exchange, quarterback to running back exchange. Don't want to see a lot of the ball on the ground. And the kicking game, a year ago, this game came down to a field goal. But it's not so much about points, it's about the protection units in an all-star game setting.
And we are set to kick off. Ross Martin, the commitment to Duke, will kick off here for the black team.
Well, we've gone to Disney World. We've had the events. It's time to play ball.
It'll be taken at the 2 by Marvin Bracey. This guy can absolutely fly. Bracey gets up the middle across the 30, loses the ball, but he was down already. Jameis Winston, the number 1 ranked quarterback in the class of 2012. He will get the start at QB for the white team coached by Herm Edwards.
With Jameis Winston, the one opportunity he will have here tonight that he didn't have in practice is the chance to use his legs. That dynamic element of keeping a play alive. He's so creative. He can make plays on the move. And with an active defensive front that the black squad features, he better be ready to make some plays on the move.
Keith Marshall, number 2 ranked running back in the class, in the backfield on first down, a pass, and it's incomplete. Looked like some confusion on that route. Second down and 10, and we mentioned Keith Marshall, the impact players in this game.
You see the impact players. Keith Marshall at the running back position, verbally committed to Georgia, so explosive, terrific in space, actually came in a little heavier than we expected. Looks like he's already gained some bulk. And then defensive players, the impact guys, Joe Bolden, the middle linebacker, verbally committed to Michigan, has been an absolute standout this week, along with Noah Spence, the defensive end.
Winston almost lost it, trying to get rid of it. Able to scramble, completes the pass to Amari Cooper, and Cooper has the first down up beyond midfield. A 20-yard completion. Chaz Elder there on the coverage. And look at this, but the white team is going no huddle, hurry up offense.
Yeah, they're going to try and exhaust this black team, and that's what I'm talking about with Jameis Winston. Doesn't like what he sees. His view gets obstructed. He can make plays outside of the pocket. So difficult to defend.
In this high school All-American game, we are playing with college rules. Keith Marshall on the carry. Joe Bolden, the player you talked about, the verbal commitment to Michigan with a tackle, a loss of 2.
Joe Bolden plays like his hair is on fire. And Greg Madison and the Michigan staff done a great job with their evaluation efforts with this young man right here. He's a see ball, get ball guy. Finds a way, is instinctive, has all those qualities that you can't coach at the linebacker position.
Second down and 12 coming up here for the white team. Winston steps up. Winston's in trouble. He goes down. A sack by Leonard Williams. A loss of 5 on the play. Williams looking at Auburn, USC, Florida State, and Florida.
Big Leonard Williams, and this is an opportunity for Jameis Winston to do one of two things. Get rid of the ball or get out of trouble to his left side, and he didn't feel it, didn't see the open, and Leonard Williams is so physical at the point of attack. Did a pretty good job there in the offensive front by Isaac Siumalu, but that was a long time to have to hold off the likes of Williams.
Third down and 18 coming up now for the white team. Winston forced out of the pocket, just gets rid of it to Marshall. And Marshall takes a hit as he gets run out of bounds. Dalton Santos there on the tackle, a loss of 2. So the defense stepping up here for the black team.
Not only did he get rid of it, he got rid of it left-handed. I think the white team was trying to set up the screen, the quarterback pressure by number 90, Malcolm Brown, verbally committed to Texas. Didn't do a very good job in execution for the offensive front there for the white team. Didn't set up the screen nicely and give Jameis Winston an opportunity to get the ball out of his hand.
Austin Harden will punt. The Florida commit, number 1 kicker in the class. Back to receive Terry Richardson, a verbal commitment to Michigan.
Austin Harden, who will double as a place kicker, kickoff specialist, as well as a punter tonight.
Richardson will let this one bounce, and it will be downed right around the 21-yard line here for the black team. A 37-yard punt. So here comes the black team, coached by Steve Mariucci. Connor Brewer will get the start at quarterback. Another verbal commitment, one of those 10 verbal commitments to Texas.
Now, Connor Brewer has so many of those qualities that you want your quarterback to have. You can't necessarily put your finger on it, but you know it when you see it. Doesn't have great arm strength, but he anticipates with great timing, knows where to put the ball to a spot. We got a penalty flag coming here. But Connor Brewer is one of those guys that has that clock that goes off in his head, knows when to get rid of the football.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on black, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, not the start that Steve Mariucci was hoping for from his special teams.
Good job. I didn't know he went inside. Yeah, tell him.
I think they had a rules violation in the kicking game right there in regards to where you can or cannot go. That's what Coach Mariucci's talking about. Cost him a penalty.
So now they'll get the ball at their own 11-yard line. Jonathan Gray in the backfield. Play action. Brewer rolling out. And he was looking for Sterling Shepard, incomplete. How about the impact players on this side?
I think Jonathan Gray, the running back out of Texas, a big physical workhorse. It's got great explosiveness through the hole. He's got that physicality to be able to pound it between the tackles. Has a lot of similar traits to Trent Richardson when Trent Richardson participated in this game in 2009. Defensive end Chris Casher didn't play as a senior due to a transfer rule. He is a load to handle off the edge, opposite of Mario Edwards.
Hard snap. Brewer scrambling, and Brewer gets chased down. Reggie Ragland with the tackle, a 5-yard pickup.
We got one more impact player with you, Eddie Williams, verbally committed to Alabama. A tall, rangy safety prospect, may end up as a wide receiver with the Crimson Tide. As we just mentioned, Reggie Ragland making the tackle on Connor Brewer as he scrambled outside of the pocket. Ragland, too, verbally committed to Alabama.
Just looking right now at this black team, you've got Brewer going to Texas. You've got Jonathan Gray going to Texas. It's got to be nice. These guys build up a rapport before they actually get down to Austin. 3rd and 5. Handoff is to Gray up the middle. Jonathan Gray gets the first down. A 7-yard run by Jonathan Gray, tackled by Marcus May, a Florida commit.
Well set up on the draw there to Jonathan Gray. Does a good job getting inside, cups that ball tight to his rib cage, protects the football well, ends up converting, moving the chains, continuing the drive for the black team.
1st and 10 coming up from the 23-yard line.
Jonathan Gray listed there at 190 pounds. I think he's actually a little bit more than that now and has a huge frame for development.
His arms are 190 pounds. I couldn't believe how strong he was. Brewer drops back to pass. Pressure. And Brewer able to pick up a yard. The pressure coming from Isaac Gross, number 99, who is verbal to Ole Miss, the number 3 defensive tackle in the class, number 36 overall.
Isaac Gross is so explosive off the football. Not very tall, plays with great leverage, great pad level. That first step quickness can be really disruptive off the football, and he's got a great motor. And that time, Connor Brewer, the quarterback, verbally committed to Texas, did a great job of taking what the defense gave him. Man-to-man coverage, middle of the field open, under duress. He tucks it and runs.
2nd down and 9. Brewer taking a chance. There's some bumping, and there's the flag. The intended receiver was Caleb Jones, number 24, Brian Poole on the coverage, and Poole will be called for the pass interference.
And that's that press coverage I talked about as one of our keys to the game. Caleb Jones, verbally committed to Texas, about 6'3".
Pass interference on the defense, 15-yard and an automatic 1st down.
You're going to see right here, he comes off the football.
No! No, he fell down! He fell down!
That's coming from a guy who played in the secondary and knows all about that.
Yeah, certainly. He's always cheering for the defensive guys.
So a 1st down here for the black team. Brewer. Now he's got a lot of field to work with. It's amazing how fast that gap closes in this All-American game. A 4-yard pickup as Reggie Ragland was right there, keeping him in containment.
They tried to come off. Just a little play action right there. Doesn't like what he sees. His view's obstructed a little bit. Connor Brewer has to back out. Does a good job taking, again, what the defense gives him. Probably could have dropped the ball off to Jonathan Gray and let him run with it. But again, don't take negative plays at the quarterback position. And so far on defense, Reggie Ragland, as advertised throughout the week, making a statement early on here in the first series on defense for the white team.
The number 2 inside linebacker in the class of 2012. 2nd down and 6. Handoff is to Gray, and he gets wrapped up, hit behind the line of scrimmage by Channing Ward, a loss of 4.
Big Channing Ward out of Mississippi.
He'll be announcing where he's going tonight during this broadcast.
That's right, it'll be in the SEC somewhere, but where? This is the Zone G scheme. They tried to pull number 77 around Evan Boehm. So much penetration up front by that white defensive line. The collective group of defensive line between the white and the black team this year may be the best we've had so far, and it is going to be a distinct challenge for these offensive lines to get movement here tonight.
3rd and 10. Brewer steps up down the sideline, overthrows his intended receiver, Angelo Jean Lewis. Ronald Darby, the Notre Dame commit, there on the coverage.
Once again, that press coverage I talked about, getting in the face of these receivers, rerouting them, not giving them a two-way go off the line and a free rein. And Ronald Darby, verbally committed to Notre Dame. From an athleticism standpoint, coupled with the measurables, a guy that could play as a safety or a corner at the next level.
Ross Martin on to punt. Marvin Bracey standing at his own 10-yard line. Takes a good bounce there, for the black team. And that'll be down inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. A 42-yard punt. No score here in the first quarter of the Under Armour High School Football All-America game. The Under Armour All-America game is presented by American Family Insurance. Your dream is out there. Go get it. We'll protect it. And by Under Armour, proud outfitter of the next generation. A great week of practice at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Herm Edwards, he had a lot of fun with you. Dari Noka. Dari is with us here during this game. He'll be handling all the verbal announcements, the on-field interviews, and Craig Halbert, and he was giving you guys a pretty hard time.
Well, he was. The elements were a little chilly at times this past week.
Jameis Winston out of the pocket, hits his receiver, LaTroy Pittman. And Pittman has enough for the first down. A 13-yard completion. The tackle there by Trey Elston, number 16, who's considering Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, and Georgia.
And this is what Jameis Winston does best. Get out on the move, on the perimeter, become a run-pass threat. Jimmy Ray, longtime NFL offensive coordinator, is coordinating the offense for the white team here tonight. Very smart on his behalf to get Jameis Winston outside the pocket where he can do his magic.
Winston chased down from behind, and he is sacked by Noah Spence. Noah Spence, who is going to Ohio State, the number 2 defensive end. He made his announcement a couple weeks ago. How about guys who'll be making their announcement here tonight? Lucas Thompson, Wes Brown, Channing Ward. You see Channing Ward staying in the SEC. Chaz Elder, Cyrus Jones, and the big one is the last one, Landon Collins, the number 7 ranked player in the class, number 1 safety. This is a guy who, without his pads on, you think he's still wearing pads, and yet he has a 43-inch vertical leap. Second down and 13 here for the white team. Winston, the handoff is to Marshall. He gets hit in the backfield. Excuse me, that was to Howard.
That was to Alton Howard. It was the delayed draw off the pump fake from quarterback Jameis Winston. Once again, the defensive front led by Malcolm Brown just collapses this offensive front. Number 90, Malcolm Brown, matched up there and just absolutely wins the one-on-one battle up front. Black team's got 5 tackles for loss so far here tonight in just the second white series offense.
So now it's 3rd and 17. And a timeout taken here by the black team.
Goes in, say dime, 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 so we know who's coming in, coming out.
Third and 17 coming up here for the white team. Tom, you talked about it. Those 5 tackles for a loss already by the black team. You said these defensive linemen were going to have the advantage over the offensive linemen.
Well, the defensive line, they come in and it's win the one-on-one battle, stop the run, rush the passer. With the offensive line, they've got to learn the scheme. They've got to understand assignments. They've got to recognize fronts, and they haven't played together. Now you're doing that, so you're thinking, you're second-guessing. Got to remember the snap count, and the likes of Eddie Goldman are rolling down and breathing down your neck. That's a tough task on just really 4 days practice.
No doubt about it. And on Saturday at 1 Eastern, Pitt will face an SMU team looking for its 2nd straight bowl victory. The BBVA Compass Bowl on ESPN Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Who knows, maybe SMU or Pitt wouldn't mind having some of these defensive linemen suiting up for them on Saturday.
They absolutely would. I can tell you that right now.
And I don't mean January, whatever the date is, 7th of 2013. I'm talking about January 7th, 2012. 3rd and 17, Winston in the shotgun. Jameis Winston throwing it up, and it's complete to Amari Cooper. Cooper, the foot race, touchdown. 75-yard completion for the touchdown on 3rd and 17.
No, 3rd and 17, you're Jameis Winston. You know you're going to run 4 verticals. That's 4 wide receivers going downfield. Take a shot one-on-one downfield with one of the most consistent pass catchers we've had here all week. Amari Cooper, verbally committed to Alabama, flew under the radar to some degree up until the summertime. So productive, maybe one of the best route runners that this class has to offer. And on that route, all he had to do was run straight.
A jump ball between he and Deion Sanders Jr. Deion Sanders Jr. just 5'8". Amari Cooper 6'1". Cooper has the advantage. So now Austin Hardin on for the extra point. And the kick is no good off those uprights. It's 6-0, white team leading the black team. When we come back, we'll have our first verbal commitment. Lucas Thompson, South Carolina would love to have him. Where's he going to go? We'll find out after this. "6-0, white team leads the black team here in the Under Armour All-America game. And now let's go down to Darinoka for an American Family Insurance verbal commitment from Lucas Thompson.
All right, guys, here we are. Lucas Thompson here, number 6 ranked safety of the ESPNU 150 from Winter Haven, Florida. Now, you're down to 3. Who are the final 3 that you would choose from?
Miami, South Carolina, East Carolina.
Miami, South Carolina, and East Carolina. Who's this little guy here? He's so cute. We got it.
That's my nephew.
He's very cute. All right, the moment is here. Miami, South Carolina, East Carolina. Lucas Thompson will attend school and play football at
East Carolina.
East Carolina gets the number 6 safety in the country. Can you exhale now? How you feeling now that this is done?
It's a real relief. Get off my chest now. Ready to get back to the game.
I know you're ready to get back. All right, get back. Lucas Thompson, the future Pirates.
Well, how about that? That's a stunner, no?
Yeah, it's a stunner. It's a huge coup for Ruff McNeil and the Pirates up there from Greenville, North Carolina. Lucas Thompson was a guy that really burst onto the scene this past spring and summer. Hit the camp and combine circuit hard, really circulated his tape. So big and physical and rangy, and he runs really well. I think he's got the ability to potentially maybe move down into that hybrid safety linebacker role at some point, and I think under-recruited in this class as far as BCS programs are concerned.
Randy Johnson will take it at the 6. Randy Johnson slips, looks like he came out of his shoe, literally, up to the 23-yard line. Now let's go back to Ryan Burr for a SportsCenter Right Now update.
All right, thanks, guys. The Miami Heat will be without both Dwayne Wade and LeBron James for tonight's game against the Atlanta Hawks. Miami 6-1. Their only loss came 3 days ago to Atlanta. Moved from college football. Monty Ball will be coming back to Wisconsin. Of course, he tied Barry Sanders' record for touchdowns. Landry Jones going back to Oklahoma, guys.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Back here, it's a new quarterback in for the black team, Chad Kelly, the nephew of Jim Kelly. He's a verbal commit to Clemson. Over the middle, incomplete. Was looking for his tight end, Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick.
Chad Kelly, a really good athlete, has been a designated runner at the high school level, very productive in that role. I think he's an ideal fit for Clemson's offense because they want that athleticism under center, can make all the throws you want. He's got some moxie to him and had the right idea there as he tried to hit Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick, but just do it high. You don't want to be high over the middle. See, that needs to work on. Takes too many risks. He's got a lot of confidence in his arm, a lot of confidence in his legs. Got to be careful taking care of the football.
The handoff to Randy Johnson. Johnson breaks some tackles, and he brings it up to the 31-yard line, a pickup of 9.
Randy Duke Johnson, verbally committed to the Miami Hurricanes, is one of those players in this game that could play at just about any skill position. You see right there underneath, does a nice job navigating traffic through the line of scrimmage, doesn't go down upon contact at the first hit, falls forward, and now puts them in a very manageable 3rd and 1.
Hand off again to Johnson. Johnson pushes that pile, gets the first down up to the 35-yard line, picks up 3. The tackle there by Jonathan Taylor, the Georgia commit, number 5 ranked defensive tackle in the class of 2012.
The big Jonathan Taylor, so strong at the point of attack, terrific measurables. As you see, they're already over 300 pounds, and quite a few guys with this white team defensive front already at the 300-pound mark, and such explosiveness off the football with that initial first step quickness.
Kelly completes the pass to Ricardo Lewis. Lewis breaks some tackles, makes a move down the sideline across the 40, and he is marked down at the 36-yard line.
Very well executed play right there, and Ricardo Lewis off with a quick screen and the play action fake in the backfield. Chad Kelly throws a strike, and the Auburn verbal commitment does the rest. Makes the first defender miss, the second defender miss. Terrific job protecting the football in traffic. The big physical athlete out of the state of Florida has played quarterback, he's played defense, played wide receiver for the Auburn Tigers, which is a need position, and obviously you see his size and explosiveness right there.
And he turned around. P.J. Williams, a fumble on the exchange, picked up by number 19, Reggie Ragland. That's actually number 18, Marcus May, on the fumble recovery.
And that's such a shame. You preach ball protection, you preach making sure that you maintain possession. Marcus May ends up being Johnny on the spot, verbally committed to Florida. Duke Johnson, this is a clean exchange. I talked about the ball handling. Exchanges between quarterback and running back. No reason for that football to be fumbled, and it is a real shame coming off of that great play off the screen to Ricardo Lewis to have a fumble and change the fortune there, give the ball back to the white team.
Now Zach Klein in at quarterback for the white team. The verbal commit to Cal. On the run, completes near sideline to Trey Griffey. And Griffey gets hit hard as he goes down after a pickup of 19. The tackle by Peter Jenkins. Trey Griffey, that name may sound familiar because that's Ken Griffey Jr.'s son, but Zach Klein, he also has been impressive this week in practice. He
has such a live arm. The ball just jumps off his hand, and you know, you turn on the tape and you evaluate quarterbacks, the first thing you're going to look at is their release. Do they have a smooth, compact delivery? Can they get the ball out of their hands quickly? Can they beat the rush with their arm? Zach Klein can do just that.
1st and 10. On the 31-yard line of the black team. Klein going down the sideline, up top. And nicely defended by Bryson Eccles. The pass intended for Darius Powell, who will be Zach Klein's teammate next year at Cal.
Yeah, Bryson Eccles, 5'9", 165 pounds versus a 6'2" receiver in Darius Powell. The one-on-one matchup down the sideline. Good release by Powell off the line of scrimmage. Eccles plays it perfectly, closes to the hip. And if that ball is thrown up into the outside, I think it's a catch for Powell on the back shoulder. Excellent defensive play by the Texas verbal commitment there in Bryson Eccles.
2nd down and 10 coming up here for the white team. Fake the handoff, the end around to Alton Howard. Howard turns the corner. And he gets out to the 26-yard line. Joe Bolden there for the tackle, a pickup of 5.
Alton Howard ends up joining the Under Armour All-America game roster late. His wide receiver, Chris Black, was injured and unable to participate. Howard verbally committed to Tennessee. He's a lot like Devontae Neal in the sense that he can play just about anywhere. He can play as a slot receiver, as a running back, a wildcat QB, tremendous quickness and terrific space player.
This is coming from a guy whose nickname is Pig. He was an offensive lineman on his Pop Warner team. Klein up the middle. He gets wrapped up by Jordan Jenkins, who's looking at Florida, Alabama, Auburn, and Florida State. A loss of 1 on the play.
See Zach Klein right there just trying to come up. That's not his forte. He wants to get back, get the ball out. See Jordan Jenkins, number 92, with quite possibly the longest wingspan I've seen on any player in the 2012 class.
Well, 4th and 6 coming up, and they're going to go for it here, the white team, coached by Herm Edwards. Klein, the pass to Griffey, complete, enough for the first down. A 12-yard completion. There is his father, Ken Griffey Jr., watching from the sidelines, and he has been a proud dad all week long.
Well, Fadio Denigbo, number 7, almost takes Zach Klein's head off. Klein gets that ball out so quickly. That's what I mean by beating the rush with your arm. Trey Griffey does a great job catching the ball in traffic.
First and 10 here for the white team. Inside the red zone. Klein steps up. Pressure. And Klein will get dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by Jordan Jenkins. Again, with that long wingspan of time, you kind of get the feeling that's one, if you're Klein, you'd like to see him throw that one away.
Yeah, you'd like to see that ball out of his hand, into the stands, play the next down, and understand the moment. You're approaching the red area now. Does a good job of keeping the play alive when he didn't like what he saw initially. But he's got to get that ball out and go ahead and just not take any type of negative yardage. So far tonight, 3 sacks on behalf of this black defense.
And Zach Klein told us during practice this week, his weakness, I don't move very well with my feet.
No, he's got good feet. He's just not that dynamic dual threat.
The handoff to Keith Marshall, and Marshall gets wrapped up after a pickup of 1. Malcolm Brown, another Texas commit, number 2 defensive tackle in the class, number 14 overall.
It'll be very difficult, I believe, for both of these teams to effectively run the football on a consistent basis against the front personnel. There's Malcolm Brown once again. We've already called his name several times. Just so powerful at the point of attack. Hard to get movement against him. And behind him, you have the likes of Dalton Santos at linebacker, verbally committed to Tennessee, as well as Joel Bolden, as we mentioned, committed to Michigan, making a lot of plays flowing to the football.
3rd down and 12 here for Zach Klein and the white team. Klein gets hit from behind, sacked by Fadio Denigbo. A loss of 7.
He's kind of got the nickname of Mini Clowney. Wears the same name. He's built like him. He's just not quite as tall and doesn't weigh as much. You take a look at the right side of your screen right here, the one-on-one matchup. And Fadio Denigbo comes inside and then goes back outside, and he's just working. It's all speed. It's all quickness.
Bam! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! That's it, baby! Here, kick that.
Steve Mariucci had so much fun in last year's game when his team won on a field goal to end it with no time on the clock. Happy here with Fadio Denigbo and his team's defense. The first quarter has come to a close. The white team leads 6-0. Welcome back to the Trop here in St. Petersburg, Florida for the Under Armour All-America game. White team leads the black team as we start the second quarter, and we've got another announcement about to be made. So let's go back down to Darinoka for the announcement with Wes Brown.
All right, guys, thank you much. Yeah, Wes Brown is here, tailback, one of the top tailbacks in the country out of Baltimore, Maryland. All right, so your top 3 are who?
Maryland, Vandy, and Miami.
Maryland, Vandy, and Miami. So who is going to get this tailback, Wes Brown? You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're not nervous, right? No nerves. All right, give it to us. You will be playing your college football at?
I mean, I want to go somewhere where we're smart enough to be naive enough, but not to accomplish what we can accomplish. And that is the University of Maryland.
Maryland. Wes Brown off to carry the rock at Maryland. All right. Why Maryland? I mean, the uniforms are sweet. Now, tell me the uniforms had a little something to do with it.
No, it didn't at all. I mean, just staying home with my mom, make sure everything's good back home, not go off too far so she won't have to worry. my support is back home.
There you go. The Baltimore kid staying home to go carry the rock for the Maryland Terrapins. Wes Brown, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys?
Thanks, Dari. Congratulations to Wes Brown. He'll be a Maryland Terrapin next year. His white team right now is going to attempt a 45-yard field goal. Austin Harden, the #1 kicker, going to Florida next year. Harden hit the upright on the extra point attempt. Again, these are college goalposts. And that kick is no good. Sunday night on ESPN, the Sun Belt and MAC champions will square off as Arkansas State meets Northern Illinois. The GoDaddy.com Bowl on ESPN Sunday night at 9 Eastern Time. Tom, you and I got a chance to see Northern Illinois play this year. What are your thoughts on them?
Chandler Harnish is a really good player. He's a dynamic runner and thrower. Dave Doran, the first-year head coach, did a wonderful job with the Huskies, and now a coaching changeover at Arkansas State as Gus Malzahn takes the helm, starts to formulate his staff and finish off recruiting for Arkansas State.
Chad Kelly back in at quarterback. Fakes the handoff. The end around of Thomas Johnson. Johnson's got some room and some blockers. Johnson gets the first down up across the 40. Marked down at the 43-yard line. A 15-yard run there by Thomas Johnson, the Texas verbal commit.
Thomas Johnson, so explosive, quick off the football. He's tremendous when he's on downfield routes, getting off of press coverage, in and out of breaks. And this misdirection, the end arounds that both the black and the white team are starting to employ will hopefully slow down the pass rush a little bit for both of these defenses to give these quarterbacks an opportunity to get into rhythm. And this black team did a good job stopping the white team after that turnover to get the ball back.
Play action here by Kelly, rolling out, chased. Kelly on the run, and he just gets rid of it. Alertly throws it out of bounds. It's funny, you watch these guys and you know they're used to playing during the regular season, most likely the best player on the field at all times. Sure. Fastest, strongest, whatever. Now you come here and Chad Kelly, who's got good speed, is getting chased down by these defensive linemen.
Yeah, Dante Fowler verbally committed to Florida State. Mario Edwards verbally committed to Florida State. The bookends of this defense on that particular play, breathing down Chad Kelly's neck. As you mentioned, you're not the best guy on the field necessarily anymore.
Mario Edwards, he's number one. He says, wait, Mr. Luganbell, I am the best. Jonathan Gray up the middle. And Gray gets some positive yards, which we really haven't seen from running backs yet. Picks up 3. The tackle there by Michael Rose, who is verbal to Nebraska.
Jonathan Gray is such a great-looking player on the hoof, and Michael Rose comes up, a true middle linebacker, stout at the point of attack, very good between the tackles. He's actually very explosive as an up-the-field inside gap blitzer. Not very tall, but boy does he play with great passion, as all linebackers should.
3rd and 7. Kelly with some time. Throws to his tight end, Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick. Enough for the first down, a 9-yard pickup.
Very nicely done by the offensive line and very nicely done by Chad Kelly. Throws the outcut to Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick. Verbally committed to USC, the big tight end. Athletic, can run, really threaten the middle of the field from his tight end position. Chad Kelly now starting to move the chains a little bit for this black team offense.
The verbal commit to USC. USC, this will be the first year they're dealing with their limited number of scholarships.
That's right. Their evaluation efforts are so critical. They can't afford to miss. Got to make sure that they're on the right guys.
Kelly under center. Just trying to buy some time. Has a wide open Jonathan Gray. Gray, the stutter step, gets wrestled and tackled out of bounds. Marcus May finally brings him down, but an 18-yard completion to Gray.
Thought we were going to get a little bit of that Texas two-step that we saw from Trent Richardson against Ole Miss. Right there out of Jonathan Gray. Jonathan Gray, one of his most underrated traits is Chad Kelly. He's doing a great job keeping this play alive. Finds his check down in Gray, but he is a really good, he is a really good receiver out of the backfield. The best thing for Jonathan Gray, he's got a lot of mileage on his chassis. Carried a full load at the high school level, shattered every record imaginable, and now we won't have to carry the full load at Texas.
The pass was to Randy Johnson out of the backfield. Johnson was never looking. He was trying to sprint down the sideline. You talk about Jonathan Gray, though, the #1 ranked running back in the class of 2012. Shattered every record imaginable. He played on ESPNU this year. He had an okay game. I mean, he only scored 7 touchdowns. Of course, that was following Case Keenum's 9-touchdown performance at Houston.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and he was so disappointed in himself. You know, this is a high carry back. 25 carries, 30, 35 carries, and he's capable of pulling it off.
Handoff is to Johnson, and Johnson gets stuffed right away by Chris Casher. Casher, who is verbal to Florida State. You look at this defensive line for the white team. You've got Mario Edwards verbal to Florida State. Casher verbal to Florida State. Dante Fowler Jr. verbal to Florida State. It's almost not even fair.
Well, and it's the position at which they play. That's where the difference is. That's why LSU and Alabama are playing for a national title on Monday night. The defensive front dominance. And a tradition that we feel very proud of here at the Under Armour All-America game is what separates the good and the great in college football.
3rd and 11. Gray back in. Kelly lofts it short. Coming back to make the catch is Thomas Johnson. And they pick up the first down, a 17-yard completion.
Well, this is just a corner route out of the slot to Thomas Johnson, the verbal commitment to Texas. Chad Kelly could have set his feet and got this ball. See, getting off a press right there. Great job. I think Eddie Williams, number 7, Alabama verbal commitment, got himself caught up, not realizing he didn't play that overly well, and allowed Thomas Johnson a free release down the field.
1st and 10 coming up from the 11. Handoff is to Gray. Gray keeps those legs moving, then runs into a couple of trees, picks up 3. Dakota Ball, the first one to make contact, and Alabama verbal commit.
There's Ronnie Feist, an LSU verbal commit, playing on the same team. One night and one night only.
On this night, they all can get along.
Yes.
10th play of the drive coming up here for the black team.
Well, Ronnie Feist is a sideline-to-sideline guy. Great explosiveness. Instinctive. Maybe the best collective group of linebackers was seen in a long time. The 2012 class, very strong in that area.
Kelly again forced out of the pocket. Buys some time. Pump fakes. Kelly finally gets shoved out of bounds, takes out some signage. Reggie Ragland and Ronald Darby there to chase him out as Kelly picks up 3.
Kelly's got that riverboat gambler style to him, always making sure he's doing what he can to keep the play alive. A good job keeping his eyes downfield. The pump fake holds Eddie Williams, number 7. And then he tucks the football wisely, gets out of bounds. But again, gaining positive yardage, not taking negative plays.
3rd and 4 coming up. A flag is on the field.
Holding on the offense. Repeat 2nd down, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Well, so after all that running there by Chad Kelly, there's a holding call against his offensive line.
And I think that was a call that the white team sideline and coaches have been screaming for. They felt there's been a little loose holding throughout the game. You see Herm Edwards there.
Draw and screen. Draw and screen, linebackers.
Why he's saying that? Because to slow down this pass rush, you've got to try and set him up.
The slant route. Stopping the route was Caleb Jones, the intended receiver.
And that's a miscommunication. You see Caleb Jones, number 4, again, committed to Texas. Didn't come out of his break on the deep end cut. Chad Kelly was expecting him to cut across the middle of the field, and I think Caleb Jones ran the curl, just coming right back to the quarterback, and he knows. He pointed at his chest, realized he may have had a mental error.
Think about these guys. They're learning plays throughout the week, and now they have to execute them when they're facing the best players they've ever gone up against. 3rd and 29. Kelly over the middle, completes to his tight end, Cope Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick finally gets stood up at the 15-yard line, a pickup of 14. If nothing else, it brought them to within field goal range.
Absolutely. They need to get points on the board here. They're the only team that's had a turnover so far tonight. The defense was able to hold, get the ball back. Chad Kelly's mounted a nice drive here despite the holding penalty, but at least, as you mentioned, Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick getting it done on this drive as a pass catch. Hopefully they can get some points on the board here.
A 32-yard field goal attempt here by Ross Martin to make it a 3-point game. The kicker who is going to Duke next year. And Ross Martin splits the uprights. The 32-yarder is good. It is now 6-3, white leading black. When we come back, we've got another verbal announcement. Channing Ward, a lot of schools locking in on him. We'll find out where he's going. The white team leads by 3 here in the second quarter. And it's time now for another verbal commitment announcement by Channing Ward. So Dari, take it away with a number 9 defensive end in the class.
That's right, number 9 defensive end. You got 5 schools here. So we're going Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, that's quite a list. How difficult has this been to decide?
It's hard and difficult to see because you got players every round want you to come to their school. Then you got people in state want you to come, and then people where you from want you to go to Mississippi State. It's a hard decision.
You are from Aberdeen, Mississippi. Who knows? Maybe being near home has some impact here. 5 SEC schools it's down to for the number 9 defensive end in the country, Channing Ward. You will play college football where, sir?
At the University of Mississippi.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss. There he is. Your cousin Dylan rocking the hat here. Ole Miss. What did it for Ole Miss?
It just felt better. I feel like I'm at home. Then I feel like I'm getting taken care of, and I get to play with my brother.
Quite a coup for the Rebels. New head coach and a stud defensive end going to Oxford. Congratulations. Now get back and play some football. I know you're anxious.
Good for Hugh Freeze. A changeover, the coaching position there at Ole Miss. He comes over from Arkansas State and starts off with a huge piece of the puzzle, because Channing Ward, whether he's going to play as a hybrid lineman defensive or outside linebacker defensive end or what have you, he has been a dominant force here throughout the week, so active, and that's a huge building block for Hugh Freeze, the new coach at Ole Miss.
Ross Martin now will kick off here for the black team. Marvin Bracey, Ronald Darby back deep for the white team. Everybody's waiting patiently. I give them permission to kick off. Marvin Bracey, number 15, he is a track star. He was actually the 3rd fastest kid at the U17's Worlds in 2010. He has run a 100-meter dash in 10.28. He may go 98 yards here. He picks it up at the 2, and Bracey looks like he may have.
He did fumble that football, but fortunately recovered.
Woo. Devin Desper able to recover the ball. So the white team will maintain possession. It will be their ball when we come back. The Under Armour All-America game is presented by American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com today to learn more. And by Under Armour, proud outfitter of the next generation. Mario Edwards Jr. picking up senior and making it look easy. That's not the thing that you want if you're the dad, is it?
Well, if you're Mario Edwards Sr., who is a defensive cornerback at Florida State, I bet never in his wildest dreams did he imagine he'd be having a 300-pound defensive lineman for his son. And a darn good one.
Zach Klein back in at quarterback. A little delayed handoff. Wes Brown with a stiff arm, able to get across midfield up to the 46-yard line. Chaz Elder there on the stop, but a 27-yard run by Wes Brown, who just before verbal to Maryland.
Well, the delayed draw right here, great job inside. Really the first opportunity the white teams had to gain positive yardage on the ground. Just now 6 rush yards total for the half. That includes that run. Positive for the white team to get some breathing room for this offense.
First down at the 46 of the black team. Low snap. Klein. Wes Brown asking for it. He's got it. Brown picks up another first down. The block came in as Joshua Holsey with the tackle.
Number 13, LaTroy Pittman peels back. And D. Cleats, Nord Davis, verbally committed to Stanford on the block. You're going to see right here to the right side of your screen as this ball gets laid out to Wes Brown. Right there. Oof.
Clean block.
Clean block in the front, led with the shoulder.
LaTroy Pittman, a verbal commit to Florida. Number 16 wide receiver, 106 overall in the 150. 9 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Klein, the handoff to Brown, who gets wrapped up right away by Jordan Jenkins. Tom, we talked about this. during the skills competition when Jordan Jenkins, he won the lineman challenge. His wingspan got to help him. It's been helping him.
I mean, he's one of those guys that may never have to cut his fingernails because he'll just scrape on the concrete as he walks through the halls and goes to class. He's got a wingspan that helps him play that position, gain extension, quick hands off the football, and he's got a huge frame for development because he's only about 235 pounds right now.
Klein zips the pass behind his intended receiver, Marvin Bracey. 3rd down and 9 coming up. Let's go down to Darinoka, who's joined by a very special guest, the founder and CEO of Under Armour, Kevin Plank.
Absolutely, guys. Here is Kevin Plank. And year 5 of you and your company putting this on, how would you describe the development of this program, this game, this week through 5 years?
Well, I think we got to see how good the game has been with the talent that came out in the NFL. With Julio Jones, A.J. Green, guys that played in our first inaugural game here. So watching it in year 5, the way that the ESPN's come together, the broadcast, the coverage, and most importantly, the kids and the coaching of just teaching them things beyond the football field is probably the best part of all.
I mean, this is almost a week-long deal. It starts with practices on Sunday in Orlando, and it goes through the game on Thursday. What's your favorite part of the week?
So Coach Mariucci, he gave this great speech actually last night at dinner.
How about
and
that
it's called
play?
The best part of football is actually the huddle. You got big guys, little guys, skinny guys, people from different places, but everybody comes together, they make a play, they go out and they execute. So I like every time they huddle, probably. It's pretty good.
Guys, you want to call the touchdown real quick and we'll come back?
I would think Kevin Plank would love that play right there by Marvin Bracey, the one-handed grab. That most likely will be a SportsCenter top 10 play.
Yeah, Zach Klein throws it behind Bracey, who comes around, great focus, one-handed down the seam for the 2nd touchdown of the night for the white team. Verbally committed to Florida State, fastest player on hand here. What a tremendous play.
So now on for the extra point is Austin Hardin. And Hardin's extra point is just good. It got tipped. But how about the play by Marvin Bracey? The adjustment, the one-handed grab, and a 32-yard touchdown. And earlier this week, the players got to sign the crash card, a pledge they would abide by safe driving rules. For more information, log on to teensafedriver.com and find out how to also make a safe driving pledge. It was pretty cool seeing that car there during the practices, and the players all go up to sign it. Marvin Bracey pointing to his jersey, number 15. That's right. Yeah, it was a heck of a play, and he was impressive all week during practice as well.
Well, he was, and we got to get up close and personal with the practices on ESPNU. 6 hours of coverage throughout the week. Really get a chance to see what these guys are made of, both athletically and mentally. Because as you've mentioned here tonight, Justin, for the first time in their lives, they truly have been challenged, because the guy to the left, to the right, in front and behind them is as talented, if not more talented, than they are. And that's my favorite part of the practice. They can go to Disney World and Hollywood Studios and do all that stuff in the skills challenge. The practices, to me, are great.
Austin Hardin on to kick off. Randy Johnson, Devontae Neal back deep for the black team. A 13-3 white team lead here in the second quarter. A high kick, Devontae Neal from the 6. This guy is electric. Devontae Neal gets up to the 25-yard line. A 19-yard return for Devontae Neal. It'll be black team ball, but let's go to Ryan Burr for a SportsCenter Right Now update.
All right, Justin, over on ESPN2, we got a good Big East game brewing. Pitt opened up a 12-point lead, but the Paulers come storming back, and the Blue Demons currently up 1, 8-29. Once again, that's over on ESPN2. Guys?
Connor Brewer back in at quarterback here for the black team.
And his teammate Devontae Neal's lined up in the slot as well.
Brewer, low throw intended for Angelo Jean Lewis. Angelo Jean Lewis, we talked before about the vertical leap. Sterling Shepard's got a 40-inch vertical leap. These two guys were standing on the sidelines. And I'm talking to Sterling. I said, 40-inch vertical leap, you going to dunk one? And Angelo's like, you got a 40? I got a 42.
And he was
like,
serious.
Yeah, and he's like, and then Landon Collins, he's got a 43. I think next year we may have to have a dunk contest at some point during the week.
That would be nice. Very interesting. That first step quickness by Isaac Gross along the defensive front, number 99 from his defensive tackle spot. He is in the backfield almost before the ball reached the hands of the quarterback. Connor Brewer off balance on that throw. This black team's been able to move the football effectively, haven't been able to capitalize on opportunities inside the red area.
2nd down and 10. Devontae Neal in motion. Handoff to Randy Johnson, looking for some blockers. Use the stiff arm to turn the corner, then gets hit hard in the collision going out of bounds by Eddie Williams, number 7, the number 1 athlete in the class, number 9 overall, who is verbal to Alabama. And you can see Randy Johnson now is slow to get up.
Well, Randy Johnson does a great job with the stiff arm here and bounces this play to the outside, has enough speed and quickness to turn the corner, and he takes an absolute shot from Eddie Williams. Cyrus Jones, number 5, in on the tackle as well, but right there. Williams verbally committed to Alabama as they attend now to Randy Duke Johnson, the Miami verbal commit. Might just need to take a seat for a few moments.
The training staff tending to him. And now he's going to walk back across the field to his own sideline. You know, it's funny because I go back to the week of practice, and it is practice. But these guys go out there and they want to prove to each other how good they really are. So they don't treat it like they're going up against their teammates. They treat it like it's a game, and they will lay people out in practice.
Highly competitive, professional style practice and schedule throughout the week, almost as if we were in a training camp type setting.
3rd and 2. Jonathan Gray in the backfield, splits out. The ball is deflected, able to make the catch. And it looks like he'll have enough for that 1st down.
This is a terrific catch by Jonathan Gray over the shoulder. The ball had some heat on it from Connor Brewer. Again, an underrated and undervalued trait from Jonathan Gray. Nicely thrown, well received, just enough to move those chains for this black offense.
Do you find it interesting at all that Jonathan Gray, the number 1 running back, is going to Texas? Last year, Malcolm Brown went to Texas in the backfield. Keith Marshall, number 2 running back, is going to Georgia, where Isaiah Crowell, number 1 running back last year, is at Georgia.
Yeah, all in this game.
Connor Brewer swings it out to Ricardo Lewis, and Lewis gets tripped up. Great open field tackle by Devontae Harris, who is verbal to Oklahoma.
I know Herm Edwards, the head coach of the white team, really liked Devontae Harris throughout the week. Felt he had hips. Very smooth and fluid. This is a tremendous opportunity for these youngsters, especially at the wide receiver DB
they throw the
positions.
bubble screen. Make sure number 2 is not running the seam. If they throw the bubble screen, you look at number 2. Over here, over here.
Opportunity for these guys to match up one-on-one, wide receiver DB, and have created some great battles throughout the week.
Brewer setting up the screen pass to Gray. Gray makes a couple of guys miss. Jonathan Gray gets tackled by Dakota Ball after a pickup of 2. When you look at Jonathan Gray, he's 5'10", 190, and I'm going to say maybe he's getting close to 200 pounds with how strong he is.
I think he's over 200 pounds, to be honest with you, and not in a bad way. I mean, I think he's physically mature to that point. I believe he'll probably play at the collegiate level in the 220 to 225 range. I don't believe he will lose athleticism and skill set with that added weight. I think it will enhance his durability. Boy, has he been special in the passing game tonight.
3 catches for 24 yards. 3rd and 6. Brewer releases towards the sideline as he gets hit. The pass intended for Angelo Jean Lewis. Mario Edwards applying the pressure.
Connor Brewer trying to throw that deep comeback route. Mario Edwards all over him, takes a shot to the chest just as he releases the football, and he needed just about a hair second more. Dante Fowler again. Oh, keep in mind, folks, that's a 300-pound edge player on defense in Mario Edwards.
And that's what folks from the ACC could be seeing, with Edwards coming from one side and Fowler coming from the other side. And oh yeah, by the way, a substitution would be Chris Kasher. Cyrus Jones is back deep to return the punt from Ross Martin. Cyrus Jones will back away from this one, takes a good bounce there for the black team. It will be downed at the 11-yard line. A 48-yard punt by Ross Martin. It's a 10-point lead for the white team here in the Under Armour High School All-America game. Monday, January 9th, it's the rematch of the regular season game featuring LSU and Alabama in the All-State BCS National Championship on ESPN. Monday, January 9th, coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. These two teams have essentially been 1-2 all year long. Amazing what the SEC has done. Guaranteed themselves of their 6th straight national champion. 7 first-team All-Americans. Les Miles, pretty good numbers in bowl games.
Alabama's allowed a staggering 9 touchdowns the entire season on defense. Wow.
Tanner Mangum is now in at quarterback for the first time for the white team. Mangum throws a screen pass to Keith Marshall. Marshall tries the cutback, makes one guy miss, and that guy was Joe Bolden. And Keith Marshall finally gets pushed out by Dalton Santos, picks up 7.
I like that play call. Slow down the pass rush right off the bat. Get the ball into the hands of one of the more explosive running backs in this class. And Keith Marshall verbally committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. See what Tanner Mangum can do here. BYU verbal commitment. Really raised his game over the spring, over the summer. Camps, combines. And every time I saw him, he was better than the previous time. Highly competitive. Needs to continue to work from under center. He's been a shotgun player.
Hands off to Marshall, trying to keep his balance. Stumbles forward. Will get the first down. Tanner Mangum, you talk about, you know, the summer circuit, going to all those camps and whatnot. He and Zach Klein have become very good friends by going to all those camps, the Elite 11 and whatnot.
Yeah, they're buddies and spending a lot of time together throughout the week. And Mangum's one of those guys that I just feel flew under the radar throughout much of the recruiting process out of Eagle, Idaho.
Mangum looking for the pass to Amari Cooper, incomplete. Bryson Eccles there on the coverage. But you mentioned kind of flying under the radar. Well, how many people come out of Eagle, Idaho?
Yeah, and he took it upon himself to get out to the camp, get out to some combines, try and gain some exposure and get a feel, get a feel for the process, see how he stacked up against other athletes of similar caliber, if not better, see where he stood in the process.
2nd down and 10 coming up for Tanner Mangum and this white team, leading by 10. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Luganville and Dari Noka here for the 5th annual Under Armour All-America game. Gets hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Landon Collins. Collins trying to cut it back. And Landon Collins gets tackled by Colin Thompson. A 27-yard return on the interception by Landon Collins, who will be announcing later on during this game where he will be attending college next year.
Well, now the two teams are even with a turnover. Landon Collins comes up with a big play. On defense, this ball thrown high to an open receiver. Pressure by Noah Spence, number 9, who's already got a sack tonight. Landon Collins does a great job keying Mangum. A high ball over the middle. You're asking for trouble if you're a quarterback. And now this black team. Again, another opportunity inside the red area. They have got to capitalize. Effectively have moved the football. Haven't been able to gain points.
The Texas tandem is in the backfield with Connor Brewer and Jonathan Gray. Brewer gets sacked. Hit by Channing Ward, who just announced before that he's going to Ole Miss. A loss of 10 on the sack.
Channing Ward, he's going to be at the bottom of your screen here. So physical at the point of attack. You're going to see it right there. Comes off the edge, and just too much for Kennedy Estelle, number 78, the offensive tackle, to handle one-on-one on that particular play. And it, you know, getting the ball out quickly for Connor Brewer. Three-step passing game, some screens, some wide receiver quick screens is something this offense needs to get back to doing as they're struggling to hold up at the point of attack versus this white team defensive front.
Second and long. Brewer lofting it up towards the corner. His intended receiver was Caleb Jones. The coverage by Brian Poole. And it looked like Caleb Jones was looking for a flag because his defender, Brian Poole, just stopped running and he was running into him.
And yes, and Connor Brewer wasn't able to keep that ball in bounds, trying to hook up with his former teammate, his future teammate at Texas there. And that time it was Chris Casher, number 21, Channing Ward, number 11, closing in on the quarterback out of Scottsdale, Arizona. He's hanging in there. He's taking some shots tonight, keeps getting back up off the turf, getting a taste of what's to come at the next level.
3rd and 19. Brewer throws and it's picked off. Brian Poole. Poole down the sideline, has a blocker. He's going to go all the way. Brian Poole for the touchdown.
Third long, coach, so they can see the ball come out.
'93-yard pick six by Brian Poole, who is verbal to Florida.
Well, clearly a miscommunication there between Connor Brewer, who's on the sideline right now talking to Steve Mariucci, the head coach, and Ted Tollner, the offensive coordinator. He thinks the wide receiver's running the skinny post. Wide receiver runs the comeback route to the sideline, and the out-cut route. And Brian Poole does a great job of tight roping the sideline and getting more points put on the board now for this white team.
Austin Harden on for the extra point. And Harden's kick is good. A 20-3 lead for the white team, coached by Herm Edwards. Brian Poole made a great interception during practice. This one was much easier.
Yeah, this was thrown right to him. Again, a miscommunication offensively. Connor Brewer and the wide receiver would love to get back onto the same. Sterling Shepard, it was number 14, would love to get on the same page and have that one over again, because had it been an outcut, that would have been a completion to the sideline and put them right back in field goal range.
Brian Poole, the number 9 ranked cornerback, number 131 in the 150.
Very physical. Many of the same traits Quandre Diggs at Texas now had a year ago in this game. Physical at the point of attack, can come up and press you. Terrific in run support. You see the frame and the build.
This white team opening up a big lead right now, 20-3. Austin Harden will kick off. Terry Richardson, Devontae Neal are back deep here for the black team.
See if we see Chad Kelly. A third quarterback, Preston Dewey, committed to the University of Miami. Unfortunately, had a very severe hip flexor strain this week. Was unable to play and go. Was able to practice throughout the week and injured it late. It's unfortunate for him. So the black team down to 2 quarterbacks as we have a little miscommunication between the officials and the game clock here. There's Preston Dewey right there out of the state of Texas. You see right to the right there. That's Ty Detmer, former Heisman Trophy winner, and standing right in front of Preston Dewey is Chris Wenke, the 2000 Heisman Trophy winner, on the sideline there with the black team.
Terry Richardson takes it 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Richardson down the sideline, fakes out a man. And then he gets wrapped around, thrown out at the 30, a 30-yard return for Richardson. 20-3, the white team leads the black team. Let's go back and check in with Ryan Burr for Sports Center right now.
All right, Justin, coming up at the half, 2 college stars decide to wait on the NFL and head back to school. We'll tell you who they are. BCS National title game, of course, is Monday. We'll head to New Orleans for a report from both teams. And 2 of the big 3 not on the floor for the Heat tonight. We'll tell you how they're doing in Atlanta. We'll see you at the half, guys.
Sounds great. Chad Kelly is back in at quarterback, like Tom had mentioned. Kelly with some time. That's the first time all night anybody has had any time. And the pass is complete to Devontae Neal. Neal picks up the first down with a 13-yard completion.
Now they got to get moving again. Have been very effective moving the football. They've been able to run the football nicely. Jonathan Gray's been effective both in the run game and on the perimeter. And Devontae Neal sees his first touch on offense as a receiver. They've got to capitalize on opportunities, and unfortunately they've given the ball away twice now in this game.
The handoff is to Gray. And Gray pushes forward up to the 49-yard line, picks up 6. It almost looked like Gray went too far out in front for that handoff.
Yeah, he did. It's the delayed draw again, and didn't look like this was going to be a very smooth exchange. And actually, he had his arms backwards. He had his inside arm, which is his right arm, should have been on top instead of below, as he took the football from quarterback Chad Kelly.
On 2nd and 4, play action. Kelly trying to go back down the sideline for Gray. And Gray comes back. Does he haul it in? Yes. Jonathan Gray out of the backfield for 33 yards. Ronnie Feist there on the coverage. There is a flag, though, in the backfield. It looks like this one is coming back.
They're going to get a holding call once again.
Going back. 72
This is going to be on Curtis Reiser, number 72, verbally committed to the Texas Longhorns. And what a tremendous play now, negated by another penalty. This has got to be very frustrating for the black team.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of foul. 2nd down.
Just when it looks like this black team can get something going offensively, a holding call brings it back.
This is a well-thrown ball and great focus.
Wow.
On behalf of Jonathan Gray along the sideline. Terrific awareness. What a special prospect he is going to be.
2nd and 25 on their own 28. Kelly forced out of the pocket again. On the run, throws, and it's incomplete. A couple of guys go down. Channing Ward applying the pressure. Chris Kasher is down on the field.
Tough to see what happened here live, as Chad Kelly was rushing out of the pocket trying to keep this thing alive. But Chris Kasher clearly wincing in pain immediately after he went to the ground.
Chris Kasher, who is verbal to Florida State, number 3 defensive end, number 13 in the 150. Let's take a look at this.
Up from the right side of your screen. Ooh. Number 6, Ricardo Lewis, verbally committed to Auburn, peels back on Chris Kasher with the second of what we've seen tonight. 2 huge collisions. The first being on Randy Duke Johnson by Alabama commit Eddie Williams, and now Ricardo Lewis from the right side of your screen, number 6, doing what he's coached to do, peel back.
You mentioned,
go ahead.
You mentioned Randy Johnson. He has not returned yet, and now Kasher, it's good to see him standing up.
Is that a good-looking prospect or what?
Chris Kasher, 6'5", 235 pounds, and you mentioned it before, Tom, but this is a guy who transferred to a different school to work on his academics. he actually had to sit out due to transfer rules his entire senior season. So this is the first football he's playing in about a year or so, or at least since the summertime, but first football with pads on. And I think people may want to know, if he didn't play football this year, how did he become an Under Armour All-American?
Well, as you start the evaluation process during the junior year and you start to see how guys stack up, it was clear he was among the premier players at the position.
Chad Kelly over the middle. It's deflected. Was looking for Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick. Ronald Darby, the player, got a hand on it.
It's actually a pretty well thrown football. We have another flag in the backfield this time. The ball just slightly tipped the last second. Seems to be some officials confused on exactly what the flag is, what the call is. See Patrick DiStefano there of the state of South Carolina, talking to Curtis Reiser, who received the previous holding penalty. Don't know if this is holding just yet.
Five-yard face mask on the offense. Replay third down.
Offensive face mask, which is likely hands to the face. Here's the replay down to Cope Fitzpatrick, and that's just a great play.
5-yard
coming over
face mask on the offense
by number 25, Ronald Darby.
Fourth down.
So now fourth down if the penalty is declined. Ronald Darby, who is verbal to Notre Dame.
And he can run so well, so explosive. Saw him come off the sideline there to make the play on the ball in the middle of the field. Great awareness.
Devontae Harris standing at his own 40-yard line with Ross Martin on to punt. Good punt by Ross Martin. Gets into that one. And it takes too good of a roll as it goes all the way into the end zone. We've got these coaches wired up. Let's take a listen to Herm Edwards on that interception return for a touchdown by Brian Poole.
Did you break it out? You forgot, huh?
That ain't my coach.
That's what you're right. You're right.
That ain't my coach.
That's the way to make a play.
For sure.
That's the way to make a play. Good eyes, good hands. That's the way to return it, baby.
It's been great watching both Herm Edwards and Steve Mariucci all week. These guys really get back into it. They meet these players for the first time, and by the end of the week, they get to know them pretty well.
Well, they absolutely do. You spend so much time in meetings and on the practice field, getting to know these guys.
Tanner Mangum, the pass complete to Darius Powell. And Powell brings it up across the 35, a pickup of 14. Coming up at halftime, we'll reveal the Under Armour Undeniable Award winner. That is coming up at the half. Joe Bolden, the linebacker who is verbal to Michigan. Another player that these coaches have pinpointed as a player who has stepped up this week in practice. Mangum quickly gets rid of it to Powell again. Powell, the stiff arm, bounces off a defender. Lowers his shoulder, gets up to midfield. Picks up 16 as Trey Elston, who is considering Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, and Georgia, makes the tackle.
How about Tanner Mangum just shaking off that last interception? Coming out and throwing darts, hooking up twice in a row with Darius Powell. This white team's going for the jugular.
Again to Powell. And Powell drags a couple defenders. And now a timeout taken here by the white team and Herm Edwards. A 7-yard completion. Keyshawn Johnson, a California guy, talking with Darius Powell, who is verbal to Cal. You know, I found out this week that Keyshawn Johnson was heavily considering going to Cal or University of Washington as opposed to USC.
Worked out pretty well for him.
Worked out pretty well, yeah. 1:11 to go here in the first half. The white team leading by 17, but you see Keyshawn Johnson. You talked about Chris Wenke, the head coach of Steve Mariucci, Herm Edwards. An incredible experience for these kids throughout the year. Deion Sanders has been here working with a secondary. I mean, an opportunity of a lifetime for these kids to work with these coaches and get the tutelage for just a week's time, lessons they can take for the rest of their careers.
Well, and having been coached by so many guys that have been in so many different situations, you know, whether it be collegiately, professionally, the different type of, whether it's a life lesson or a game lesson, a practice lesson, whatever it may be, to be able to impart some of that wisdom on these guys as they conclude their high school career and take it along with them has been special all week long.
2nd down and 3. Mangum avoids the rush. On the run, going down up top for Powell, and he can't come down with it. Terry Richardson there on the coverage. Darius Powell, all 6'2" of them, almost had it. There is a flag down, though, by the end zone.
That was an exceptionally well-thrown football. Tanner Mangum was out of the pocket, had to square his shoulders and flip his hips and make a throw on the run as a right-handed passer, and places that ball in the only spot that his target could catch the football. Very impressed right there.
Pass interference on the offense, 15-yard penalty, and loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
It's Tanner Mangum escaped the pocket right here. Now watch him flip around. Puts this ball in a great spot. I think they called just a little stiff arm a little bit on Darius Powell and Terry Richardson. Richardson verbally committed to Michigan. I think that's a little bit ticky-tack. Yeah. If that's pass interference, whoo, the game's changing. If that's pass interference.
Everyone says you got to protect the quarterback. Apparently now you're protecting the cornerbacks.
Yeah, you're protecting the cornerbacks, which Herm Edwards would like.
So 3rd and 17 coming up here. Mangum drops it off to his tight end, Sean Price. And Price going to come up just shy of that 1st down marker. You're looking at maybe a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Ball is at the 42-yard line. Under a minute to go. Go for it.
Looks like they're going to. Obviously, they don't feel comfortable kicking a field goal of this magnitude from this distance.
Herm Edwards, I believe, once said, you play to win the game.
Now, 4th down, home.
Fourth and 2. Alton Howard in the backfield.
Get ready.
Mangum, the quick out, and that gets batted down at the line by number 92 Jordan Jenkins and number 18 Devontae Fields. The two of them had their hands up in the air.
And now there's still plenty of time for this black team offense. As we keep stating, they're moving the football effectively. Just a great job by Jordan Jenkins, who again has the longest arms of anybody in participation here. Gets that big paw up in the air, puts the ball down on the ground. We flip possessions. And with 50 seconds to go, Chad Kelly's been able to move around efficiently. They've had big plays negated by either a turnover or a penalty. Hasn't necessarily been a lack of execution. 161 total yards on offense in the first half for the black team. 2 timeouts remaining.
Kelly on 1st down. Forced out of the pocket, chased by Mario Edwards. Kelly now will try to run with it. And he gets tackled from behind by Isaac Gross. A 5-yard run. The clock continues to run, though. And now the timeout is used here by Steve Mariucci and the black team.
Chad Kelly just trying to keep the play alive.
Start off with Puma. All right, so we're gonna get a boundary throw. All right, and then you go to the line. We're gonna go to red ball now. So go right to the line. See if we can get 2 or 3 plays in, and minimum a field goal. Somebody play outside.
Let's get inside the 25-yard line now, okay? If they catch the ball, get out of bounds. Call the play, and then we're gonna go no huddle, red ball, right?
All right, so here's Steve Mariucci say, let's get inside the 25-yard line. 2nd and 5 with 33 seconds to go. We've had some guys go down with some injuries. Let's check in with Dari Noka. Dari, what's the status on those players?
Guys, Connor Brewer, the quarterback we saw go down, looked like he got popped in the head pretty good. I just talked to him. He said he has a concussion. I didn't talk to a medical person. I talked to Connor himself, and I said, is it a concussion? He said, that's what they tell me. He won't play again. Preston Dewey out of Austin, Texas, going to Miami. Wasn't expected to play at all tonight, guys, at all. But with a hip flexor injury, he's been throwing a little bit. He says if Chad Kelly goes down, we don't have another choice. I think I can hand off, but that would be about it. So something to keep an eye on, guys.
Not good news about Connor Brewer going down with that concussion. A 12-yard completion to Sterling Shepard, who gets out of bounds. Now, if there is another injury and Chad Kelly were to go down, the one thing you do have with these All-Americans is guys who may be playing wide receiver or DB, but played quarterback on their high school teams.
Well, you do, but you don't have any that have played during the week, haven't taken snaps, haven't called the play, aren't familiar with where the ball should be going. That could pose a big problem.
Kelly again forced out, running with it, and he alertly runs out of bounds, chased from behind by Channing Ward. A 7-yard run, 19 seconds to go. It's got to be a different feeling for a quarterback being chased from behind by a guy who's 6'3", 230, or a guy who's, you know, like 6'4", 297 like Mario Edwards, and they're catching up to you.
Yeah, it's you know, the windows start to shrink when you're throwing the football and you think you got all this space. Your vision becomes obstructed faster, more often. It's a steep learning curve, and that's why you see very few true freshmen just step on the field and light the world on fire. It's not easy.
Randy Johnson in the backfield. Play action. Kelly again, pressure. Kelly, and now he goes out of bounds, gets wrestled down by Channing Ward. A loss of 11. The pressure by Jonathan Taylor. It looked like there was an opening for Kelly to run with it. And that's going to be the final play of the half, as Kelly did not get out of bounds, but now he is slow to get up. Well, let's hope Chad Kelly is all right. The quarterbacks have been falling by the wayside for this black team. 20-3, the white team leads the black team. It is Herm Edwards on top, leading Steve Mariucci. Now let's go to Ryan Burr with the ESPN High School halftime report.
What up, baby?
A 17-point lead back here at the Under Armour All-America High School football game. It is a 20-3 lead for the white team over the black team. Justin Kutcher alongside the director of national recruiting for ESPN, Tom Luganville. And Tom, you talked about the defensive line in this game for both teams. It's almost been too good because we actually have an injury situation with the quarterbacks on one team.
Yeah, we certainly do with the black team. Connor Brewer has gone down and will not return with concussion-like symptoms. Took some shots, hung in there, throwing the ball in the face of the rush. Hasn't been able to get the ball off effectively, quickly. So he sits. Chad Kelly comes in, has done a great job with his feet, making a lot of plays. He goes down right here, and his ankle gets caught underneath Channing Ward. His status now is questionable, Justin, for the second half. So let's walk through now. I'm going to have you walk me through so I don't get confused exactly what's going to take place here on the black team.
Well, I tell you what, that play for Chad Kelly was the final play of the half. So now he goes to the locker room. So the question is, what happens? We do have Dari Noka, who is down on the field. And Dari, what's the latest that you can tell us about the quarterback situation for this team?
Well, guys, Chad Kelly just came sprinting out of the locker room, and he looks like he's ready to go. I just talked to Chris Winkie, who, of course, coaching over here on the black side. He said that Chad Kelly is fine. It is a high ankle sprain, though, that has been heavily taped, heavily iced. But I got to say, guys, on the field right now, he looks pretty darn good. Now, BYU commit Tanner Mangum has switched from the white team to the black team. He is now the second quarterback behind Kelly. He's wearing number 20 with the jersey change. So that's the latest. Chad Kelly, though, ready to start the second half for the black squad.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Dari. And it looks like Tanner Mangum has changed his last name as well to Under.
Woo. Wow, I tell you what, those black sideline coaches, this is rather unprecedented. You start out the week with 3 quarterbacks. Unfortunately, you lose one late in the week in Preston Dewey, the Miami verbal commitment. But now Tanner Mangum, the ultimate team guy, goes in, does a little bit of a wardrobe change, comes out, Chris Wanke's giving him a bit of a crash course, and now with Chad Kelly sprinting onto the field, hopefully he won't be thrust into unnecessary duty. But I'll tell you one thing about Tanner Mangum. You talk about a great attitude, a great kid. He's been so appreciative of the week. And to come over and go to the other team and come up with a way of making this thing happen, I admire the young man.
Yeah, and you know what? These guys, they all want to win, but they also are here to have some fun. And heck, now he gets to throw to different crop of receivers, and he could improve his stock. He comes in, who knows, maybe what happens.
Absolutely. Look at Tanner Mangum, the BYU verbal commitment, talking to the Heisman Trophy winner and former BYU quarterback Ty Detmer on the sideline, who ironically happens to be Preston Dewey's high school head coach in the state of Texas. Here, obviously, on the trip with Preston Dewey, who, again, was injured, and some interesting things taking place. Let's see how this unfolds. This is going to get competitive. Again, the first half was not about a lack of being able to move the football for this black offense. They were not able to capitalize in the red area when they had their opportunities, and it looks like Duke Johnson back on the field of play after he was dinged in the first half.
Austin Harden to kick off. 2 number 1s back deep. Terry Richardson in his own end zone will take it out. Richardson tries to cut it back up the middle, fumbles the ball. Loose ball picked up by the white team. Darby down the sideline. He gets taken out of bounds, and a flag comes flying in down at the, looks like the 2 or 3 yard line. Ronnie Feist forced the fumble, and then Ronald Darby picked it up.
Ball protection is so critical to the overall success of any football team, whether it's an all-star game with a short week to prepare or your 12th game of the season. And that has not been an area where the black team has been successful so far tonight.
Personal foul on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
It's a good return, takes it up, just cannot secure the football. Number 9, white defense, Ronnie Feist, verbally committed to LSU, getting it done, rips the ball out, and Ronald Darby, the Notre Dame commit, takes it down to the 1.
Jameis Winston on first down, keeps it. Now he fumbles the ball. It looks like Winston has picked it back up to recover. Noah Spence forced the fumble, but Jameis Winston able to fall on it.
Jameis Winston at times this week hasn't always been, I think, as assertive as he should be when it comes to ball handling. He's been a little bit lazy with his hands at times, securing the football. I mentioned the ball exchanges and the ball handling and our keys to the game, and Noah Spence could have scooped and scored there.
Second down and goal, a loss of 9 on the play. Winston up the middle. Jameis Winston gets hit hard as he gets inside the 5, reaching forward. And it looks like he'll be marked down at the 2 after a pickup of 8. Noah Spence there for the tackle.
It's a good job by Jameis Winston right there, recognizing man-to-man defense without any coverage in the middle of the field. You leave that middle wide open, and his ability to dance around and create some opportunities can put a lot of pressure on the defense.
You know he wants to get into the end zone. Does Jameis Winston? He's got an MC Hammer dance he wants to break out. It's 3rd and goal from the 3. Hand off to Wes Brown. Brown cuts it back. Brown gets stood up shy of the end zone. Great job by Landon Collins, the player who'll be announcing later on during this half. Number 1 safety, number 7 in the ESPNU 150.
And this looked like it was going to be a walk-in for Wes Brown right here. And look at Landon Collins. Dalton Santos on the ankles, a Tennessee verbal commitment. But Landon Collins, already an interception tonight, makes a great goal line stand there on that play and that tackle.
You don't see many high school safeties built like Landon Collins.
No, you do not.
So 4th and goal from the 1. The white team will go for it. Leading by 17. Winston up the middle. And Winston is going to be short. Noah Spence was there for the stop. And how about the defensive stop by the black team?
What a huge series on defense for the black team. Steve Mariucci's got to be so excited about the resiliency of this team. Again, effectively moving the football. They have not been able to get out of their own way. See big number 58, Eddie Goldman, loading up the middle. Noah Spence, number 9, who has been all over the place, not only as a pass rusher, but this time in stopping the run. And the black team right back at it, received the opening kickoff, fumbled it. They've got to feel terrific right now about this opportunity the defense has afforded them.
And Chad Kelly is in at quarterback. On first down, Kelly slings over to the sideline, and he completes that pass to Angelo Jean Lewis for a pickup of 7. Angelo Jean Lewis, the verbal commit to Miami, number 6 wide receiver in the class.
See Chad Kelly there looking like he's feeling pretty good. Doesn't seem to have much tenderness with the ankle, and if he does, he's faking it really, really well. And I like the play call there just to get that ball out from your own end zone.
Chad Kelly, the nephew of former Buffalo Bills great and Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. Handoff to Jonathan Gray up the middle, and Gray looks like he's going to be very close to that first down marker. Mario Edwards there for the tackle, and it will be a first down.
I sense a little bit of hunger from this black team.
They
seem to have they got a bit of a chip on their shoulder, little hop in their step. I think it's because they know that it's not a matter of just not being able to get anything done. They just got to take care of business. They've been their own worst enemy. And now they got to capitalize on the opportunity that this defense provided for them with that goal line stand.
Kelly drops back, throws high, and it's incomplete. Was looking for Angelo Jean Lewis again. Ronald Darby there on the coverage, and Kelly says that was my bad, threw too high.
Yeah, and he knows it too. He had the curl route to Angelo Jean Lewis, the Miami verbal commitment. Coming right back at him, you've got to put that ball at helmet level or lower. Just a little bit hot. Chad Kelly of the football.
Handoff to Gray. Gray nowhere to go. Runs out of real estate. Marcus May finally shoves him out. A pickup of 1 for Jonathan Gray, the #1 running back in the class of 2012. The verbal commit to Texas. Marcus May, a verbal commit to Florida.
And Marcus May has already had a big impact on this game. Earlier in the first half with a forced fumble. Big 3rd and 9 coming for this black offense. Offensive line seems to have settled down a little bit. Gotten a feel for this very powerful and active defensive front for the white team, which includes Mario Edwards and Channing Ward and the likes of Chris Cashier.
Kelly gets sacked. Dropped by Dante Fowler Jr. Another verbal commit to Florida State. A loss of 7 on the play.
Dante Fowler had an explosive first step off the edge. He uses a great technique, grabbing the back of the shoulder pad of number 71, Patrick DiStefano, out of Roebuck, South Carolina. Gets him over his toes, bending at the waist, not at the knees, and Fowler just doing a great job with initial quickness and using his hands.
Amari Cooper standing just around midfield. The punt is blocked to the end zone. And that'll be a safety. Marcus May with the block punt. We've talked about the defensive line for the white team. Now it's a linebacker, Marcus May, coming up on special teams.
To the left side of your frame, right in here. Marcus May, number 98. He comes inside.
That was the Olay blocking technique.
It was. There was a lack of execution up front. Marcus May takes advantage, takes that ball right off the toe of Ross Martin, number 23.
(22-3), the white team leads. They'll get the ball back here after the safety. But Marcus May, 6 feet, 195 pounds, 3 tackles, a fumble recovery, and now a blocked punt.
Just when you think get a little momentum going for the black team and a great goal line stand there on defense, get the ball back to your offense, albeit backed up, get the ball out, get some breathing room. Forced to punt due to the sack by Dante Fowler. See Marcus May there, very versatile, physical, great at the point of attack. Good fill in the alley. Running, I think he may be a hybrid linebacker safety. The way he's built and how he'll end up maturing physically.
The Gator chop. Brian Poole had the interception return for the touchdown. He's going to Florida. All those guys in there.
See this black team defense come back out there and try and get the offense back on the field. They've shown a lot of heart defensively, but the mistakes have been made as far as turning the football over with the offense. For the black team, the defense has bailed them out and fortunately not giving up too many big plays outside of really two. The opening touchdown throw from Jameis Winston to Amari Cooper, and then obviously Zach Klein, the Cal commit at quarterback, to Marvin Bracey in the second quarter for a great one-handed catch on the touchdown.
Ross Martin now will punt following the safety, with Ronald Darby and Alton Howard back deep for the white team, standing at their own 20-yard line. Howard takes at the 26. Alton Howard up the middle. And Howard gets tackled from behind down at the 48-yard line, a 22-yard return. Dalton Santos on the special teams tackle. When we come back, Chaz Elder, South Carolina, Vandy, Georgia. Pay attention, he's making his decision next. Welcome back to the Under Armour All-America game presented by American Family Insurance. 22-3, the white team leads the black team. Time for another Under Armour verbal commitment, this time from Chaz Elder, who's standing by with Dari Noka.
All right, Justin, thank you. Chaz is the number 7 safety in the ESPNU 150 from College Park, Georgia, hometown of one Cam Newton. Now, I know Auburn is not in your final 3. Who are your final 3 right now?
UGA, South Carolina, Vanderbilt.
Georgia, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. I know the Dog Nation says, Chaz, you better be staying home. Let's tell everybody right now. Chaz Elder will be playing college football at where?
Give me that, bro.
Oh, we got a hat. You got like 6 different ones to choose from. South Carolina. He's leaving Georgia for South Carolina. What about that Gamecock program did you like so much?
I like everything about it. Plus the DBs, 5 DBs on the field at one time. I loved it.
What do you think Georgia fans are feeling?
I don't know.
It's not your problem, is it?
No.
All right, the newest member of Gamecock Nation heading to South Carolina from College Park, Georgia, Chaz Elder. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Chaz Elder, congratulations. Now he joins former Under Armour All-Americans Devontae Holloman, Stephon Gilmore in that defensive secondary. Quite the tradition there for the Gamecocks.
Jameis Winston in at quarterback on first down. Play action. Throws, completes to Marvin Bracey. And Bracey fumbles it as he goes out of bounds. But he'll be knocked out at the 27-yard line. A pickup of 25 yards. Trey Elston there with the tackle.
Marvin Bracey coming across on the drag route from the other side off of the naked bootleg. Jameis Winston once again getting outside of the pocket where he can be most effective and become a run-pass threat. Really speedy route across the field. Landon Collins doesn't take a great angle initially to be able to dislodge Bracey from the football.
And there was movement on the offensive line. Number 58, Brandon Green, who is verbal to Alabama, the number 4 ranked offensive tackle. He's a little small, 6'5", 290.
Dead ball. Procedure on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Number 25 overall in the ESPNU 150. 1st and 15. Keith Marshall in the backfield. Handoff is to Marshall. Marshall gets to the outside, cuts it back. And Marshall's going to be marked down just shy of the first down marker at the 19-yard line. A run of 14. Landon Collins with a tackle.
Well, you see right there, Keith Marshall, such speed to get to the perimeter. He outruns Noah Davis. Good blocking by the wide receiver there on the perimeter against Terry Richardson. Very well executed at the point of attack.
2nd down and 1 coming up. Fake the handoff. Winston keeps it. And he drags a couple of guys forward. Very close to that first down marker. Joe Bolden there for the tackle.
One of the things you may notice about the Under Armour All-America game is not an East and West. It's broken up by matchup. You know, maybe placing somebody from California within the same team as somebody from Georgia or North Carolina and Arizona, to be able to establish and maintain those relationships for years to come, try and even things out. Never want anything to get broken down.
Marshall on the handoff gets the first down. Well, more than 1,000 family members and friends joined the Under Armour All-Americans last night at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club Convention Center for the 2nd annual jersey presentation ceremony. My partner here, Tom Luganbill, hosted the festivities and was joined by head coaches Herm Edwards and Steve Mariucci, who gave the keynote speech. The evening concluded with each student athlete receiving the Under Armour All-America game jersey. Now, of course, Tanner Mangum has now received 2 jerseys, one of them with the last name Under. And this one is a touchdown, complete to Shaq Rowland from Jameis Winston. A 16-yard touchdown pass to Shaq Rowland.
What an impressive throw on the skinny post, which is what I think Connor Brewer was trying to accomplish with Sterling Shepard earlier in the game, which resulted in an interception and a miscommunication. You're going to see Jameis Winston throw this ball to his left. Very well timed, well thrown ball as far as ball placement. And Shaq Rowland, the South Carolina verbal commit, just gained a teammate. And Chaz Elder just a few moments ago as he chooses the Gamecocks as well. And the white team really executing well on offense.
Austin Harden on for the extra point. And that is good. 2nd touchdown pass of the game thrown by Jameis Winston. Completes to Shaq Rowland. It is now a 29-3 white team lead over the black team. The Under Armour All-America game is presented by American Family Insurance. Your dream is out there. Go get it. We'll protect it. And by Under Armour, proud outfitter of the next generation. Jameis Winston with a nice pose. He's 6 for 7, 146 yards, 2 touchdown passes in this game as his team leads 29-3. Jameis Winston, the verbal commit to Florida State, also a fantastic baseball player, a projected first rounder in the June draft. Austin Harden will kick off. Randy Johnson, Devontae Neal back deep for the black team, and the black team running out of time to get something going, trailing by 26 points. Austin Harden, #1 kicker, going to Florida. Randy Johnson will take it from the goal line. Johnson has a seam going to the outside. Randy Johnson trying to cut it back across midfield. Now has some room to run. Randy Johnson at the 30. And Randy Johnson finally gets pushed out of bounds at the 17-yard line. An 83-yard return by Randy Johnson.
Well, this is redemption for Randy Johnson, because keep in mind the opening kickoff coming out. Black team received. He returns it, fumbles. Now he has another opportunity, makes something happen, cuts back against the gray. Terrific stutter step, the stop and go ability. Great quickness, explosiveness. He just runs out of gas and runs out of real estate. Job finding the seam. This time clearly protecting the football. Holds it tight to him. There you go. Now he switches the ball to the opposite hand. Nice awareness by Randy Johnson.
An opportunity. Jonathan Gray now on the carry, and he gets tackled right away by Michael Rose. A loss of 2 on the play. And now Jonathan Gray is slow to get up. And we have an official timeout with Gray on the ground.
Jonathan Gray on the outside zone here, trying to find a seam. It's like he just went down on it, on his knee hard there. Didn't seem to see a lot of twisting.
Jonathan Gray literally hopping off the field. 29-3, white team leads the black team. Let's check in with Ryan Burr back in studio.
All right, Justin, over on ESPN2, good battle in the Big Ten brewing is Indiana, who already has home wins against Kentucky and Ohio State, looking to add to that against Michigan. Hoosiers by 7 over the Wolverines at the break. Guys?
Randy Johnson back in now in the backfield. Kelly. The pass complete to Sterling Shepard over the middle.
Sterling Shepard comes on the inside, runs a delayed slant route, catches the ball away from his body with his hands. Great hands by Sterling Shepard, the Oklahoma verbal commit, and a well-thrown ball by Chad Kelly. Now, this is the 5th time tonight this team has been inside the red area after driving and moving the football. Only has 3 points to show for it.
3rd and 4. Kelly throws the end zone, and it's hauled in for the touchdown. Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick. 11-yard touchdown pass to the tight end who's going to USC.
Set up by that man right there, Randy Duke Johnson, the Miami verbal commit, and Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick. What a tremendous catch. Tremendous adjustment to the football as this ball was thrown to the inside shoulder on the corner route. Chad Kelly, I'm sure, would have liked to have gotten this over the top, but he puts it in a spot where Marcus May, number 18, has no chance of getting to the football. Well executed, points on the board. Finally, some execution in the red area for this black team.
Ross Martin on for the extra point. And Ross Martin's kick is good. Saturday at 1 Eastern, Pitt will face an SMU team looking for its 2nd straight bowl victory. The BBVA Compass Bowl on ESPN Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. SMU, 3rd straight bowl appearance. Pitt, what's going to happen with them? They got the reaffirmed commitment from Chad Wojcik, the quarterback out of Tennessee.
Well, they did, and they have a running back in Russell Shell, who, if you're Paul Christ, you're pretty fired up about the stable now that's in the backfield for that offense that you want to run, pounding away and grinding at people.
Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick, 6'4", 260 pounds as a tight end.
Runs really well. He's a great kid. At one point this week, the other tight end for the black team, Justin Meredith, got a little bit dinged, and he literally took every snap of every drill for that day. No complaining, smile on his face, gutted through it. Seen an awful lot of heart, seen a lot of determination, a lot of competitiveness from these prospects throughout the week. I think they've taken upon themselves to challenge themselves and recognize this is the first step in the process. This is what's coming at the next level. Whether I'm enrolling early, mid-semester, and moving to my college of choice next week, or maybe in June, maybe in August, it's a great taste for many of these guys, all of these guys.
What do you think about enrolling early?
So much of it has to do with what your role is going to be early. If you're going to play right away, to be able to get acclimated academically, get involved in the winter conditioning program, partake in spring football, I think it can be very beneficial.
A very short kick. Alton Howard takes it up by the 20. Howard, some nice moves as he brings it across the 35 up to the 36-yard line, tackled by Jordan Jenkins. This is the 2012 Under Armour High School All-American game, the 5th annual. Next year will be the 6th annual, and already some guys getting ready to come for next year.
Now, this is just a list of some guys already committed for the 2013 Under Armour All-American game. And Stacy Coley, a very explosive wide receiver. See Jordan Cunningham, another one there. Reuben Foster, a high-profile guy in this upcoming class as an inside linebacker, as is Trey Johnson and Greg Webb. Really impressive defensive tackle in the class of 2013.
Zach Klein in at quarterback now for the white team. The verbal commit to Cal. Play action. Klein gets wrapped up and taken down by Afadio Denebo. Second sack of the game for Denebo.
Again, that quickness off the edge, that first step, using your hands. See the right side of your screen. He's going to be right here, and he gets upfield, and he does it in a hurry. Uses his hands, dips his shoulder, gets skinny, and this is what this black team needs. Get the white offense behind the chains, get them in a second, third, and long, get your offense back on the field. There's a lot of time left in this game.
Odenigbo looking at Stanford, Cal, Northwestern, and Notre Dame. The pass complete to Colin Thompson, the tight end down the sideline, gets the first down. We talked about the guys who will be playing next year in this game, and also there are a lot of guys here in this game who haven't yet committed to a school. For more information on these top recruits in the country, log on to recruitingnation.com.
Signing days just around the corner for the class of 2012. First Wednesday of every February. February 1st this year.
Can't be any earlier.
Can't be any earlier. It's a nice job just taking what the defense gives. Zach Klein there, the Cal quarterback. Verbal commitment out to Colin Thompson, the tight end, verbally committed to the Florida Gators.
Play action. Klein looking back across the field, throws high, incomplete to LaTroy Pittman. Pittman, who is a Florida verbal commit, number 16 wide receiver, number 106 in the 150.
Well, that ball was high, but LaTroy Pittman is a guy that prides himself on making difficult catches, and the ball was high because Joe Bolden, he buzzed to the underneath flat area, and really Zach Klein had no other choice but to lob it up and over, and just too high and above the outstretched fingers of LaTroy Pittman.
Second down and 10. Klein quickly gets rid of it, incomplete. Deion Sanders Jr. there on the coverage. The pass intended for Darius Powell. Deion Sanders Jr., the son of Deion Sanders, prime time. When he takes his helmet off, he looks a lot like his dad.
Yeah, he does look a lot like his father. It was a good job right there, breaking on the slant route, inserting himself. Now again, 3rd and 10 for this black defense. This is a huge opportunity to get a stop right here.
Ball is on the 49-yard line of the white team. Klein pressured, gets wrapped and taken down by Noah Spence. The black team again makes a stand defensively. A loss of 6, the second sack of the game by Spence.
Noah Spence, number 9, to the bottom of your screen right there. Again, that first step, explosive quickness, facing off against Brock Stadnick out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Stadnick at 6'5", 290. But that initial quickness off the ball is so difficult to handle. This is the adjustment for these offensive linemen, and it is a difficult one to make in 4 days worth of practice.
Austin Harden on to punt. Terry Richardson standing back at his own 20. Good punt this time by Harden. Richardson has to go back, backpedaling now back towards the end zone. And he gets taken down at the 1-yard line by Devontae Harris. So a long field up ahead for the black team as they trail by 19. This fall, the American Family Insurance Selection Tour for Under Armour All-America Game covered more than 19,000 miles, visiting each of the 93 participants. Each player was presented with an honorary jersey in front of their families, coaches, and peers, who were all instrumental in the achievement of this dream. The selection tour also provided American Family Insurance with an opportunity to educate teens on how to reduce distracted driving incidents. The symbolic pledge card visited high schools across the country, giving students the opportunity to take the American Family Insurance Team Safe Driver Pledge. And then earlier this week, the players got to sign the crash card, pledge that they would abide by the safe driving rules. For more information, log on to teensafedriver.com and find out how to also make a safe driving pledge. Black team ball starting at their own 2-yard line. And the handoff breaking free is Randy Johnson. Johnson gets upended at the 30-yard line. A 28-yard run by Randy Duke Johnson, the verbal commit to Miami.
Well, and he may be carrying the load the rest of the way out if Jonathan Gray can't go. Almost tackled in the end zone, and great quickness through the hole. He is slithery. Very difficult to get a clean shot on him. He's got great feet, can fit through tiny creases. Terrific job getting this Black offense out of a hole.
1st and 10. Chad Kelly drops back to pass. And that pass is incomplete. Was looking for Angelo Jean Lewis. And Kelly now comes up hobbling just a bit again. Chad Kelly finished the half by getting tackled and getting his ankle rolled over. Said he had a high ankle sprain. We weren't sure if he was going to come back out for this second half. Tanner Mangum, who was originally on the white team, switched now to the black team. So he's backing up Kelly. The thing is, Tanner Mangum doesn't know the plays for this black team.
It's an unfortunate set of circumstances, that's for sure.
Johnson gets a good block. And then he gets tackled, wrapped up by Brian Poole, a pickup of 2. The block by Devontae Neal.
Initially, I'm not sure. Mario Edwards, number 17 there, is who I think Chad Kelly was afraid was going to bat the ball down, and Devontae Neal does a good job peeling back, and Brian Poole, 24, comes up, makes a great tackle. Guess who again? Mario Edwards, Dante Fowler, the bookends, both verbally committed to Florida State. Both have had fantastic evenings tonight.
On 3rd and 8, Kelly taking the chance down the sideline, and it's broken up beautifully by Ronald Darby. And now Darby comes up hobbling. The pass intended for Angelo Jean Lewis.
Angelo Jean Lewis does a good job running down the sideline. He's very explosive. This ball just slightly underthrown. If this had just a tad bit more air, it had a chance. Ronald Darby, the injury bug, really seems to be hitting both teams tonight. Whereas during the week, outside of Preston Dewey, didn't seem to have any issues during the week.
And outside of the cold weather, Bracy takes it at the 23-yard line. Marvin Bracy looking for something, creates the hole. And Marvin Bracy gets tackled up by the 40-yard line, an 18-yard return.
Woo!
Joey O'Connor, a right tackle, making the tackle on special teams.
Take a look at this. He almost had all 3 of those black jersey Under Armour All-Americans on the ground.
The funny part is he's a straight line runner, 100 meter, 200 meter. I mean, this is a world-class track star, Marvin Bracy, who will run track at Florida State as well as play football.
Well, that's only because they don't let you cross lanes in track, so he's got to be straight.
Now flag on the play. It'll be a false start.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty and still 1st down.
What about it? Okay. Hey guys.
So now 1st and 15 coming up here for the white team with Zach Klein in that quarterback, the number 4 ranked quarterback in the class. Number 55 in the 150, verbal commit to Cal. Wes Brown in the backfield, who announced earlier tonight here that he will be attending Maryland next year. And the handoff is to Brown. And Brown picks up a yard. Noor Davis, number 10, makes the tackle. Davis, the number 1 ranked outside linebacker in the class, number 17 overall in the 150, has verbal to Stanford. He may be the most impressive player I've seen in my 3 years, just as a person, in the Under Armour All-American game.
Yeah, he certainly is. It's like talking to a Fortune 500 CEO. I mean, he has clearly got his ducks in a row. There's no doubt about that.
Wes Brown on the handoff, brings it across the 40. He was marked down first. Malcolm Brown there on the tackle. We talked about these verbal announcements so far tonight. Lucas Thompson said he's going to East Carolina. Wes Brown, we talked about him just a moment ago, going to Maryland. How about Channing Ward joining his brother at Ole Miss? Jazz Elder going to South Carolina, played for Steve Spurrier. We've got 2 more remaining, Cyrus Jones and Landon Collins. 3rd down and 9. Klein, the pass is low, incomplete. And a punt coming up here for the white team. The pass intended for LaTroy Pittman.
Zach Klein wasn't able to follow through on that throw. Had some pressure in his face, going to throw the underneath slant route. Once again, this black defense forcing 2 straight punts by the white offense and trying to get another opportunity for this black offense to take advantage of their possession of the football.
Austin Harden to punt. Terry Richardson, the Michigan verbal commit, standing at his own 20. He made a mistake last time by taking a ball that he had to backpedal for. Pressure coming. Harden just gets it off. Richardson from the 19, and he fumbles it, but he's able to fall on it. We've got both coaches, Herm Edwards, Steve Mariucci, wired for sound. Here's the best of what we've gotten so far tonight.
Crank that thing up! Oh, baby, here we go. Oh, yeah, we rolling, we rolling. Kick off. Let's go. Kick off, go down and get some. Whoa. Hold on to that ball, Brace. Put it up there high and tight. It's okay. Tackle, tackle, tackle. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Nice job, Santos. Nice job, Santos.
Well, after all that, we have a new quarterback in for the black team. It's Tanner Mangum. Mangum throws. It's incomplete. Intended for Ricardo Lewis. Cyrus Jones there on the coverage.
And he throws a strike. That was a well-thrown football on the comeback route to Ricardo Lewis, verbally committed to Auburn, and now he appears to be down as well.
The injury bug has turned epidemic here. Maybe he got that helmet right to the hip bone.
I think he may have. Very well thrown ball again by Tanner Mangum. I like that throw. It's tough to see it. It's almost as if his own elbow is what he landed on. Ricardo Lewis right there on his own hip bone. You can see it as his elbow folded underneath. He lands right on his hip. Had a couple of big plays early in the first half. The initial one on the quick screen where he made multiple defenders miss once he got the ball into space. It looks like he's going to pop up here. How about Tanner Mangum? How about the unselfishness? The ability to adapt, overcome, persevere, do whatever the coaches ask you. Usually don't get asked to change teams unless you're in professional football. But he deserves a lot of credit. It's Tanner Mangum there wearing number 20 with the under.
Hold on.
So the Mangum on it.
I'm guessing the white 20 is the Armour.
Ready?
Keep in mind, he's been practicing all week with his teammates with the white team, learning that playbook, learning that cadence, learning that snap count. Now he's in a huddle with guys he hasn't spent an ounce of time with.
Mangum quickly throws, completes to Sterling Shepard. ESPN High School delivering team rankings, news, and more for the teen athlete and fans of high school sports. Log on to ESPNHighSchool.com.
Nice throw out to the flat. Sterling Shepard, the Oklahoma verbal commitment.
Third and 1 coming up here for the black team. Mangum. Pass is deflected and intercepted. Cyrus Jones back the other way for the touchdown. Michael Rose deflected it. Cyrus Jones, the tip drill, and he knew what to do with the rest of it.
Cyrus Jones is one of those young men that has played just about every skill position on the field, including as a Wildcat quarterback. Michael Rose tips the football, the Nebraska verbal commitment. Tanner Mangum has the target. He's got it. He knows where he's going with the football. To Caleb Jones, number 4, gets tipped by Michael Rose. That's just a great play by Rose. He elevates, makes a play, the window. Tanner Mangum is throwing it into Caleb Jones. Every time you start to see a step forward, it's 2 steps back for this black offense.
A 40-yard return by Cyrus Jones for the touchdown. The extra point's no good off the uprights by Austin Hardin. And Hardin just shakes his head, can't believe it. It's the second time he's done that tonight. Again, in high school, they play with wider goalposts. It's coming to play here in this one. 35-10. The white team leads the black team. Cyrus Jones, he'll be announcing later on. But talking about recruiting classes, and this black team, they could be called the Texas Longhorns because they have 10 players on their team that have verbally committed to Texas.
Yeah, a lot of guys with the Longhorns in this class done a great job. And Florida State, Alabama nipping on the heels, and I think have a ton to gain, as does Florida. Michigan coming off the big BCS Bowl win, an 11-win season. Brady Hoke doing a great job there. And Georgia, a wonderful season.
I mean, it looked like Mark Richt may be fired after week 1 or week 2, and look what he pulls off.
Yep. And Ohio State, Urban Meyer, very quickly getting relevant in the 2012 class, loading up with the likes of Noah Spence, a lot of defensive linemen. Recruiting classes, they all look good on paper. That's the caveat. You're not going to know for 2 to 3 years down the road just how good a class is going to turn out to be. See Connor Brewer there, who suffered a concussion in the first half. Committed to Texas, talking with a future foe in Sterling Shepard, verbally committed to Oklahoma.
Deion Sanders Jr. and Devontae Neal are back deep, awaiting the kickoff of Austin Hardin. Devontae Neal from the 1. And Neal brings it into a pile as he crosses the 30 up to the 31. Well, mark it on your calendar. February 1st is National Signing Day, and ESPNU will have 10 hours of coverage starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. Major announcements, coach interviews, and live reports from a campus near you. ESPNU is your home for National Signing Day. Find out where the Stars of Tomorrow will play on February 1st. Tom Luganville will be in studio that entire time. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right. No fluids. Going to be dehydrated that day.
Tanner Mangum. Nice catch by Caleb Jones. And Jones has a first down up to the 45-yard line. Ronald Darby there on the tackle, a 15-yard completion. The third quarter has come to an end. We head to the fourth, 35-10. White leads the black team.
Brian Burr with your Sports Center right now. According to ESPN's Chris Mortensen, New England Patriots offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien will be the next head coach at Penn State University, replacing the fired Joe Paterno. O'Brien joined New England in 2007. Guys?
Big news out of State College. Bill O'Brien, the Patriots offensive coordinator, named, according to sources, will be named the new head coach there. And Of course, everything with the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse scandal. How does this now affect the recruiting for the Nittany Lions now that they finally have a head coach in place?
Well, at least gives them about a 3-week window to try and salvage what they've established to this point. 13 verbal commitments. You know, they lose Tommy Shutt, the defensive tackle. They lose Joey O'Connor here tonight, the offensive guard. And gives him an opportunity to bring his staff in, a blank canvas, lay down his blueprint, and he's not going to be held responsible for this class. And he's going to be given, I think, a very long leash going forward.
Tanner Mangum fumbles the snap. Still loose, and finally it's recovered by the black team. Michael Flint jumps on top of it, a loss of 8. The top 5 players out of the state of Pennsylvania. You see Noah Spence, who has verbal to Ohio State. Russell Shell going to Pittsburgh. There's only one guy left in the top 5, Greg Garman, who is still undeclared.
Penn State's got to reclaim their in-state recruiting prowess, and obviously they know where their strengths are in other areas. They've got resources, have facilities, have a winning tradition. A lot of positives with the Nittany Lions.
Mangum's pass is incomplete, thrown behind Jaleb Cope Fitzpatrick. 3rd and 18 coming up. Tom, how much do you think this will set Penn State back as far as recruiting?
To be honest with you,
how many years do you think they'll have to take to rebuild this?
Well, if you have a loss of a class this year, I think you see that oftentimes with many coaching changeovers, regardless of scandal or not. Moving forward, depending on who he hires within his staff, how much college experience those staff members have, and what their approach is, I think time will tell. But there are a lot of positives within this program. I don't think it's, as we see right there, Jalen Cope Fitzpatrick didn't help his quarterback out that time. Tanner Mangum threw a strike down the seam. The USC verbal commitment should have caught that football. That was a very well thrown ball that time by Tanner Mangum. I look at the Penn State job probably through rosier glasses and maybe some other people do, because when you have a tradition of winning and you have the resources available at your disposal to get it done, I just believe that the positives outweigh the negatives, because now leadership has been established. That was their greatest enemy throughout the course of this entire situation at Penn State.
Ross Martin's punt. Amari Cooper backpedals, takes it at the 7. Cooper trying to find a seam. Now he has one. Cooper gets the outside. Amari Cooper down the sideline, asks for the blocker. Gets the blocker. Cooper's going to go all the way for the touchdown. 92 yards.
It's the 2nd touchdown of the game for Amari Cooper, the Alabama verbal commit. A long touchdown reception from Jameis Winston in the 1st quarter. And now the ability to make people miss. Got some black team jerseys out of their lane. Brian Poole, number 24, his running mate to his right, does a great job with the block on kicker Ross Martin. Amari Cooper does the rest.
Oh, that's what he's doing. One side. Touchdown. Touchdown. Don't let the. Don't let the.
PA. He said, oh, what's he doing? Oh, I see what he's doing.
That's like in basketball, when someone takes a bad shot. Oh, good shot, it goes in. Good shot, it goes in. The white team has this one under control. 42-10 after Amari Cooper's 92-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Under Armour All-America Game is presented by American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com today to learn more. By Under Armour, proud outfitter of the next generation. And Powerade Ion 4. Focus, hustle, hydrate, believe. We are awaiting the announcement of Landon Collins. He will be making his decision here during this Under Armour High School All-America football game. Last year was Steve Mariucci, got that Powerade bath. This year, not sure it's going to be Mariucci. Let's take a look at this week's Powerade Fab 50 list. And Don Bosco Prep runs the table in the final rankings. You just go down that list and you see some high school teams. Lake Travis in Austin, Texas with 16 wins. Carroll from Southlake with 16 wins. I mean, these are 15 to 18-year-old kids playing 16 football games in a season.
And long-term established coaches at many of them. You know, good counsel, Bob Malloy. The list goes on and on. Armwood High School right up the road here on I-4 between Tampa and Orlando. The Amari Cooper out of Miami Northwestern High School, the Alabama verbal commitment. Made 2 big plays, both resulting in touchdowns here tonight.
A 75-yard touchdown pass from Jameis Winston, then a 92-yard punt return for a touchdown. Austin Hardin will kick off. Deion Sanders Jr. and Devontae Neal are standing back. (42-10). Not sure anybody had this one predicted.
You know, it's so difficult to predict anything in an all-star game because you don't know what they're going to do. Short notice in terms of quick change of possession. You've only had 4 days to prepare. But to have this type of points scored, even if it's just by one team, is rare, in my opinion, in an all-star setting.
Devontae Neal trying to get to the outside, and he finally gets run out of bounds. We've got another Under Armour verbal commitment announcement. Cyrus Jones, Dari, who's Cyrus going with?
Well, now Cyrus, number 5 ranked athlete overall in the ESPNU 150, number 5 in the athlete department. First of all, you played both ways in high school in Baltimore. What do you want to play? Offense, defense? What is it?
I'm going to be playing offense in college.
You're going to be playing offense. You're down to 4 schools. Who are they?
Yeah, Auburn, Alabama, VTech, and Ohio State.
It's a pretty good group. Auburn, Alabama, Virginia Tech, and Ohio State. All right. Cyrus Jones will be playing his college football where?
All I got to say is 2 words. Roll Tide.
Alabama. From Baltimore to Bama, Cyrus Jones. What sold you on Alabama?
Just the people down there, and they really care about you. And that's the place I just felt most comfortable at, and I'm just ready to go spend 4 years down there and just try to make my dreams come true and get to the next level.
All right, I promised your mom she could say something. What you got, Mom?
Roll Tide.
There you have it, Cyrus Jones and company going down to Tuscaloosa. A good one there for Nick Saban, guys.
And that hat already looks good on Cyrus Jones, who earlier tonight had the interception return for the touchdown, a 40-yard return. 42-10, the white team leads the black team. On first down, the handoff to Randy Johnson. This was the interception by Cyrus Jones. And Tom, as we take a look at this interception, just talk to us about how big this is again for the Crimson Tide.
Well, he's a dynamic athlete that's capable of playing multiple positions, so he automatically brings value based on where you place him. If he doesn't pan out at one spot, he can help your roster in another area. Now, Alabama needs playmakers on offense. They need wideouts, and I believe if he ends up being on offense, so ultimately will Eddie Williams, who's playing safety here.
Michael Rose comes up with the interception off of the tip ball. Another turnover by this black team, but a very nice play by Michael Rose, the verbal commit to Nebraska, the 5th turnover for the black team.
That's 3 interceptions that have been either tipped or bobbled balls, and what a great play by Brian Poole, is matched up versus Sterling Shepard. And Michael Rose, just athletic, Johnny on the spot. He has the tip that leads to the other interception. Now comes up with this play. Cornhusker fans have got to be excited about Rose.
Jameis Winston back in at quarterback for the white team. Hands off to Keith Marshall. And Marshall gets forward up to the 48-yard line. You know, you look at Keith Marshall, he's the number 2 ranked running back. Jonathan Gray, the number 1 ranked running back, who went down with an injury before. But Tom, you said it before that this is a game where the running backs don't usually excel. They don't, have a big game. Why? Why is that?
Well, you're in the spread offense, and you don't. The offensive line hasn't had time to gel, come together, get to know one another. So the execution up front against a very talented and athletic defensive front can overwhelm you, and you're not going to have a lot of creases, not going to have a lot of holes. That being said, we've seen some big plays from the line of scrimmage. Not early, but as this game's rolled on, both teams have had somewhat of an effective running game.
Keith Marshall again up the middle. Picks up 3 yards. Tackled by Jordan Jenkins. 5th tackle of the game for the lineman with those long arms, who's considering Florida, Alabama, Auburn, and Florida State. You know what's funny? I'm going through all the players in this game, and not one player has committed to Oregon.
No.
I was watching last year's game, and we had a couple of guys commit to Oregon.
Certainly
not one this year.
Yeah, not one this year yet.
On 3rd and 2, they swing it out to the first down. Alton Howard. Howard up to the 32-yard line, a pickup of 17. Last year was a very good year for the Oregon Ducks as far as 150 commits, but this year just one.
Well, we saw what DeAnthony Thomas is obviously capable of, and you and I had one of their games on our air a year ago, and when he's utilized as a full-time running back, he's got to run between the tackles, not as effective.
Right.
When he's utilized in space and as a sub-package back, extremely effective, because he doesn't take that pounding on his frame.
Keith Marshall, good job cutting it back, keeps those legs churning. Up to the 25-yard line. Last year, Takoy Sumler, a guy who redshirted this year.
As did Devon Blackman, but a great performance in this game a year ago. The kickoff return for a touchdown.
The pass he caught down the sideline, and the pass that he let go through his hands. The pass from Jeff Driscoll. It's amazing how a play that was not completed still stands out a year later. I mean, that was a 60-yard toss on the run by Driscoll, right on point.
Yeah, there's no question. It was a great throw and a play that should have been made.
Winston, nice pass. And it's complete to Avery Johnson. First catch of the game for Avery Johnson, the LSU verbal commit.
Avery Johnson, the brother of former LSU corner Patrick Peterson. Very nice job on the slant route, catching the ball thrown on the back shoulder, catches it away from his frame, secures it in traffic. White team knocking on the door again, seems to want some more.
Patrick Peterson actually in attendance here tonight, watching his younger brother play. He had a pretty good rookie year.
Oh yeah. No, 6'1", 210-pound corners aren't growing on trees.
That can return punts, kickoffs.
Do it all. In high school, he was a tremendous wide receiver as well.
Winston keeps it, gets inside the 5, up to the 2-yard line. Jordan Jenkins with his 7th tackle of the night.
You've got a feel for this black team here tonight with the injuries at the quarterback position. Defense has played hard, made their fair share of plays, had multiple stops at key times. Again, the offense for the black team hasn't necessarily struggled to move the football. They've struggled to capitalize in the red area, whereas the white team has capitalized with so many of their possessions, and they've scored on defense.
And there's Keith Marshall running in from 2 yards out for the touchdown. Keith Marshall, the verbal commit to Georgia, number 2 ranked running back, number 6 overall in the 150. The turnover leads to 6.
Well, he's so quick. You see that cut upfield, very balanced. He's one of those effortless athletes. Everything is smooth and fluid. He's got good size, weighs more now than he did back in the summer. He's got a little more physicality to his style. Notice that throughout the week.
Austin Hardin's extra point is good. 49-10. The white team leads, but the big news is coming up when we come back. Alabama, LSU, Texas, Tennessee, wondering where is Landon Collins going next year. Landon Collins during his photo shoot, and now Landon Collins is standing by for our American Family Insurance verbal commitment with Dari Noka.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Here with Landon Collins, the #1 safety nationally in the ESPNU 150. Who are our two combatants in the national championship game, and are those your two? We know LSU and Alabama. Those are your two, right?
Yes, sir.
I can tell you this, through the world of social networking, your announcement is so highly anticipated, it's unbelievable. First off, how difficult was the decision?
Very difficult. Both teams are just top-notch to me, and I feel at home at both schools.
Now, you are literally from Geismar, Louisiana. Let's see if that plays into things here. LSU.
I'm from New Orleans.
You're from New Orleans. Okay, we'll give you New Orleans. But that's still LSU country. I know that. LSU or Alabama, the #1 safety in the country, Landon Collins, will play his ball where?
It's a tough decision. I got both schools here, but I'm going to go with Roll Tide Roll.
Ooh, Alabama gets the #1 safety in the country, Landon Collins. What was it about Alabama?
It's just a bigger decision for me, and I felt home more. And I just love the coaches and the coaching staff and the players that I'm going to be playing with.
Now, might I ask you your reaction? And I'm only doing that because there was not a lot of joy here. Can I ask why?
I feel this LSU is a better place for him to be. LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
You're making some friends. You're making some friends here at the Trop. No question about it. Alabama, it is. What do you think the hometown, the LSU fans are going to think? We know what one thinks.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I guess you still support me, I guess.
There you go. Landon Collins out of New Orleans. Rolling Tide to Alabama. Guys, I don't need to tell you, this is a big one.
Wow. Well, this is a big one for multiple reasons. One, he's a phenomenal player, but two, it looks like he's going against the wishes of his family here.
What do I always say in recruiting? Who do you got to identify? The decision maker. So right now, if you're on the coaching staff at LSU, you've got somebody to pinpoint. But if you're Landon Collins, obviously you've thought long and hard about this decision, and it's not been an easy one. #1 and #2 in the land playing against each other on Monday. Wealth of opportunities for him. He chose the Alabama Crimson Tide. And now I think without question now that pretty much guarantees that Eddie Williams moves to the offensive side of the football for Alabama as a wide receiver to join Cyrus Jones, who just earlier committed to Alabama. A big night for the Crimson Tide as far as gaining some serious steam down the stretch.
Well, there's been a battle for Landon Collins on the recruiting trail. How about a battle for the national championship? Monday, January 9th, the rematch. #1 LSU against #2 Alabama and the All-State BCS National Championship game on ESPN. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. But Tom, you see what just happened and you think about what just transpired, and we have to think about National Signing Day on February 1st. You said if you're LSU, you know who to target. Last year, even on signing day, Cyrus Quandro, he had made a decision, then flipped. I mean, does this open the door right now?
You said it earlier. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Nothing is secure.
Out of bounds on the kicking team. 25-yard penalty for the previous spot and first down.
In recruiting until pen meets paper. And that will not happen until at least February 1st. The battles will continue. And, you know, if you're Alabama, you feel great right now, but you know it's not over. If you're LSU, you're disappointed right now. You know it's not over.
Chad Kelly back in, gets sacked by Isaac Gross. Let's check back in with Ryan Burr in the studio.
All right, we got a good one brewing over on ESPN2. #12 Indiana hosting #13 Michigan. And Matt Rock banging home a 3. And currently now Indiana by 8, 65-57, under 7 minutes to go on ESPN2.
You know, I'm still sitting here almost in disbelief. We've had all these players come through and make their announcements during this Under Armour All-America game this year and in previous years. And it always seems that the families are in tune and agree with the decisions that the kids make. That's the first time I've seen a reaction like that. And the honesty, it was refreshing.
The honesty was refreshing, and I think also a glimpse into just how painstaking this process is, not just for the prospect, but the family members, the friends, the decision makers, whoever's involved. And everybody has their own reasons for what they want the prospect to do, but ultimately what the prospect has to do is what they feel is best for them. You want to lean on the guidance of the people closest to you, and you know there may be a difference of opinion throughout the process many times, and it appears that's the case with what we have right now.
Chad Kelly directing his receivers, and that pass is incomplete. Was looking for Devontae Neal.
This Black offensive line has really struggled throughout the evening to be able to plug the holes. You see Curtis Reiser there. Quarterbacks Chad Kelly, Connor Brewer suffered a concussion earlier in the game, did not return. They entered the game having lost Preston Dewey, the Miami Verbal Committed quarterback, due to an injury late in the week, which was very disappointing. He could not go. Tanner Mangum, the ultimate team player in the ultimate team game, moves over from the white team to the black team at halftime without any regard or selfishness to himself.
Cyrus Jones, that one goes out of bounds. The white team has this one in control, but the big news again, Landon Collins going to Alabama. 49-10. The white team leads the black team with 5:18 to go here in the fourth quarter. And now let's take a look at tonight's flashback brought to you by Under Armour. It was last year's Under Armour All-America game. It was a tight game from the start. It came down to the end when each team had a chance. It was Taylor Bertolet. After he got one block, there was a flag. Then he had another one. That one was good. And the Powerade bath for Steve Mariucci. And it was a 24-22 victory for Mariucci's team last year. And he talked about that experience, saying that was one of the best experiences he's had in a football field. He told me he hasn't yet washed that warm-up suit. I hope that's not true, but that it's staying in his closet, but it's not going to be the same this year. You could see him saying, let's go. And the handoff is to Wes Brown. And Brown gets tackled by Dalton Santos for a loss of 1. You kind of feel like this place is still a buzz, almost in disbelief from that Landon Collins announcement. And forget about his mother's reaction that she wanted him to go to LSU. Just what this means if they do in fact stay. This is the look at that. Look at his mom right there.
Wow.
Go Tigers. LSU's #1. Those were her words. A handoff to Alton Howard. Howard turns the corner, and then he gets pushed when he's out of bounds, but no flag. Dalton Santos with his 6th tackle.
White team doing a good job in each of their last 3 series, just running the football, keeping it on the ground. One of the most explosive Under Armour All-America games we've had. Obviously a distinct discrepancy in points scored, but a lot of big plays. I think anybody who has watched this can see just how impressive the defensive fronts for both ball clubs are, and very well may transition to the next level pretty quickly.
Time now for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Under Armour. For the white team, Jameis Winston. Winston 8 for 9, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. Never did see the hammer dance, though.
Never saw the hammer dance. He was directing the touchdowns, wasn't receiving them. Had a big night through the skinny post in there. Shaq Rowland, Mario Cooper. The Under Armour player of the game, 8 of 9, 179 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jameis Winston.
Looking for the block. Noah Spence. There is Tanner Mangum, who statistically may not have the numbers, but the selflessness that he showed in this game just deserves an ovation.
Yeah, he's my MVP. Where most guys, and you see him shaking the hand, most guys would be worried about themselves. They'd be worried about statistics. They'd be worried about whether they looked good when they got their reps. This guy at halftime changes uniforms, wears a jersey without his name on the back of it due to unfortunate injuries with the black team, and unselfishly goes over and actually made some nice throws, had 2 tipped balls that were intercepted. And in my opinion, he's an MVP because he epitomizes what a team game is all about.
Randy Johnson finally gets tackled by Devontae Harris inside the 20, a 7-yard pickup, and there is Herm Edwards. He gets the Powerade bath this year. There it is.
It's always a good moment.
We talked about how much fun Steve Mariucci had last year at this game, then he comes back this year. I overheard Herm Edwards say, anytime you want me back, I will come back.
It's a great experience. It's a great experience for the coaches who love to be around young people, for the high school head coaches that have devoted so much time and energy throughout their careers to help these young people have this opportunity. And as we mentioned, 2 former NFL head coaches, NFL coordinators on both sides of the ball with both teams, and then high school head coaches have coached the respective positions and done a great job.
Special thanks to the folks at Under Armour under Ben Lee's watch. Did a great job with these teams, getting them all their equipment, making sure they had everything, and just put on a fantastic show all week long. From the practices in Orlando to now the game here tonight. Caleb Jones on the catch, and the black team trying to punch it in before this game ends.
Absolutely.
And now every coach on this black team is getting a Gatorade bath or a Powerade bath.
Why not? Use it for something if it hasn't been drank.
Hand off, and there's the white team saying, Channing Ward tackles Randy Johnson. This white team wants this stop right now.
Four tackles for loss for Channing Ward on the night. He's had a big night, made his commitment to Ole Miss.
Kelly's throw on the run, complete to Devontae Neal for the touchdown.
Good for them, good for this black team. That's a tough night for them to have what's happened to them injury-wise. Jonathan Gray goes down, Connor Brewer goes down. One of their 3 quarterbacks, Preston Dewey, gets injured late in the week, and little fight left in that dog here as we fall down into the waning seconds.
Devontae Neal,
let's go.
Looking at Auburn, Arkansas, Arizona, and USC. Ross Martin on for the extra point. And that is blocked. No good. Isaac Gross blocks the extra point. Sunday night on ESPN, the Sun Belt and MAC champions will square off as Arkansas State meets Northern Illinois. The GoDaddy.com Bowl on ESPN Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tom, it seems like every year during this game, another defensive lineman stands out. In the opener, Daquan Bowers. You talk about that performance every single year, how impressive he was.
Dominic Easley at Florida. Jodavion Clowney, Anthony Chickalo last year. You know, this year, who are you going to pick? Mario Edwards, Noah Spence, Dante Fowler. The list goes on and
Channing
on.
Ward.
Channing Ward. All right, I'll tell you who had a great day in the interior was Isaac Gross, another Ole Miss commit. Chris Casher got dinged up. He's playing well early. Jordan Jenkins, who we mentioned an awful lot tonight, as well as Malcolm Brown, the defensive tackle. You see the top 10 in the ESPN U150 there. Landon Collins makes his verbal commitment to Alabama. 2 undeclared players in the top 3, Mario Edwards, Eddie Goldman, Dorial Green Beckham, who is a premier player at the wide receiver position.
Do these decisions tonight have any implication on Dorial Green Beckham's?
I don't know. I don't really think so, no. I think that with Dorial Green Beckham, you've got Arkansas, you've got Missouri, Texas. I don't think you'll see much of an effect on Dorial Green Beckham. He's kind of beat to his own drum and kept things very close to the vest.
Right here, my main man. This is my main man right here, Hoover, Alabama. My main man from Hoover, Alabama. I like Hoover. Specific reason. TV, y'all know why. Y'all know why. 31.
There is Landon Collins. The onside kick attempt recovered by the white team. Again, don't forget, February 1st, National Signing Day. ESPNU will have 10 hours of coverage beginning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with major announcements, coach interviews, live reports from a campus near you. ESPNU, your home for National Signing Day. Find out where the Stars of Tomorrow will play on February 1st. And I know I'm going to be glued to find out if Landon Collins puts his signature to the paper for Alabama after the reaction by his mother and how she wanted him to go to LSU.
It was quite the moment. There's no doubt about it. That's why it's a constant battle. It's never over. Recruiting never ends. It never sleeps.
Zach Klein takes a knee to end this one. The handshakes. Herm Edwards, Steve Mariucci. The final score, the white team wins the 5th annual Under Armour High School All-America football game 49-16. For Tom Luganville, Dari Noka, and our entire ESPN crew, I am Justin Kutcher. Coming up next is SportsCenter. This has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We saw some big-time players make some big-time plays and some shocking announcements. Hope you enjoyed it. So long from St. Petersburg. We'll see you February 1st.